If something doesn't change, some dogs will have to be euthanized to make space. Right now, the shelter is offering free adoptions, and if you aren't ready to adopt, you can still help in other ways. Learn more at WIBC.com. The average price for gas across the state is currently $3.47 per gallon, according to GasBuddy.com. That's below the national average of $3.56. Time for traffic on the fives. Here's Matt Baer.
Yeah, Sasha, I'm working this up right now. It's in Martinsville. A rolled semi-trailer has closed I-69 in both directions from Ohio Street. That's important in case you're heading to Bloomington or maybe Evansville here this morning. 69 shut down both directions because of a rolled semi-trailer. More info at WIBC Traffic. The area is a mess. We are also looking at northbound 465 on the east side. A little bit slow still from East 56 up to 69. Traffic sponsored by Comcast Business. The Comcast Business Complete Connectivity Solution. It's cybersecurity, internet, and mobile, all from one provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities. Restrictions apply. Comcast Business, internet required. I'm Matt Baer with traffic on the fives. Follow us on Twitter at WIBC Traffic.
Mom, Dad, Sis?
Here we go again.
Why are you in a suit?
Picture, if you will, a world with the best network imaginable. I'm talking about the Xfinity 10G network.
Go on.
Mom, remember how your reality shows wouldn't load with all of us online? Now you can binge. And Susie, we'll have fast internet in the basement.
Nice.
If you have any questions, here's my card.
This is just your name on a gum wrapper.
Introducing the 10G network only from Xfinity. The future starts now. Now through June 21st, new customers can get 200 megabit per second internet on the next generation Xfinity 10G network for just $35 a month for 2 years. Plus, there's no annual contract required and you get Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
And now here's your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Sunny skies, much warmer temperatures here this afternoon. We'll finish with a high of 71. We'll stay mainly clear, quiet, and not as cold overnight, a low of 46. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
It's still 46 degrees here on Monument Circle. I'm Sasha Nixon. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Sundown Gardens, Hamilton County's spring flowers headquarters.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, May 4th. Happy National Star Wars Day. It is 6 minutes after 9. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. We start off the show talking about the Bidens, both of them, Joe and Hunter. The House Oversight and Accountability Chairman, James Comer, and also Senator Chuck Grassley say that there is a whistleblower who has provided information about an alleged scheme. The alleged scheme involves your president, Joe Biden, in which he took alleged bribes in exchange for policy changes.
What? Joe Biden used his office to enrich himself, allegedly? No way.
That's the word.
That's about the last person I thought we'd start our show hearing that about.
Okay, so these two guys, they sent a letter, a strongly worded letter, to the FBI saying, turn it over. We want the information. There's this document that currently is not classified. They're both afraid that at some point the White House might classify it,
Yes.
Making it hard for them to get their hands on it.
If you would have put me in a time machine, like let's say even 5 years ago, I would have not believed you if you had said there will, within the next 5 years, be an administration in this country that was more corrupt and underhanded than the Clintons. But I think when you look at the collective of Joe Biden and the numerous allegations of shady business dealings, his kids' business dealings, his kid implicating Biden in the business dealings, the numerous meetings now that clearly took place that were organized by Hunter Biden, what appears to be, on multiple cases, vote for sale. I think he may be the winner. I think Joe Biden may have finally surpassed the Clintons in terms of corruption. Now, I don't know if Biden has the alleged body count that the Clintons have. I mean, I don't think nearly as many people have conveniently turned up dead that have crossed the Bidens as the Clintons. May just be that Biden's too stupid to figure out how to make that happen. But in terms of just blatant corruption, wow.
Wow. Okay, so this is the FD 1023. It's an FBI record. And they
the old FD 1023. You know that,
yeah,
Casey.
sure. It's the TK421B of 549. And it has been alleged that the document includes a precise description of how the alleged criminal scheme was employed, as well as its purpose. So do you think they'll turn it over? Is a strongly worded letter good enough?
Well, it is fascinating, right, on how Republicans and Democrats play different, because the Democrats impeached Trump not once but twice, once for calling a foreign leader and the second time for telling people to go home. That was the Democrat standard. A phone call to a foreign leader asking him to get information on the very corruption, Casey, that has played out day in and day out in the Biden administration. Trump asked, hey, can you get some information on that? Because that's kind of a big deal. He was impeached for that. And then he was impeached for telling people to go home. But with the Republicans, you have it handed to you on a silver platter, and they just send sternly worded letters.
Mm-hmm. So they have until noon on May 10th to produce any relevant.
Or what?
Well, right.
Or what? And that's exactly what they're saying right now. Or what?
Okay, well, this is an opportunity for the FBI to gain the trust back of the American people and be transparent. My question, what was the policy change? He was allegedly offered money to make a policy change. What was the policy?
Well, and again, there are now multiple they have been proven instances in which Hunter Biden arranged for people he was doing business with to meet with Joe Biden, including the most recent one that came out that appears to have happened in the White House itself.
Right under Barack Obama's nose.
Right, absolutely. And we are led to believe by Biden, I have no idea what my kid does.
Right.
Which is, I mean, that's completely ridiculous, of course.
Well, I don't know. It is Joe Biden. He really doesn't know.
Well, okay. Now he may not know. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, he certainly knew because he was making money off of it.
Well, let's talk about Hunter Biden and what's going on with him. He's mired in his own pool of trouble, right?
Yeah. I know what words you wanted to use.
Yeah, his child support battle with this Arkansas woman who's the mother of his love child. They're trying to get that information. So there's some deadlines coming up. There's the discovery deadline, which is May 12th. There's this deposition that's going to happen on May 22nd. There's an in-person hearing that is scheduled to happen on May 23rd. More depositions in June. And then a bench trial is scheduled to occur at a local courthouse in Batesville, Alabama, on July 24th and 25th. And it's really kind of morphed into this proxy war of sorts because this London woman, London Roberts.
Yes. The baby mama,
she is not backing down, and magically, she's getting a lot of support from Republicans.
Well, okay, so discovery is very interesting because you can ask just about anything if you can get a judge to deem it even remotely relevant to the conversation. Mm-hmm. The civil litigation is often different than criminal deposition, criminal hearings, in the sense of there's a wide swath of areas you can go. And in this case, and you can't also hide behind, I have the right against self-incrimination, which you can. Obviously, you don't have to testify in a criminal trial. And so one of the things that they should be able to get access to that I'm going to be fascinated by, who are the people who bought Hunter Biden's art?
Well, sure. She wants to know that as well. We all want to know that.
Who are the people?
Who are they? How much did they pay?
Who paid $500,000 a piece for this guy's art? I mean, there's a litany of things and these financial records that could be a treasure trove of glorious information.
Well, a lot of it, the financial records, the same documents and materials that the House GOP lawmakers are trying to get their hands on. So it could be this 4-year-old girl that the Bidens won't even acknowledge walks away as the hero.
Yeah. Now, the other interesting side of this is this guy, David Weiss, who is a U.S. attorney in Delaware. They believe he could be getting very close to what sort of, if any, criminal charges he is going to seek against Hunter Biden. And you're talking about the tax problems and the gun. Yes. So these things are going on at the same time.
Yeah.
And I'm sure because there are two Americas, there are one for us and then one for the rich and the powerful people, that they'll figure out a way to get him out of this. But I'm going to be fascinated how a guy who is using drugs on his own computer and put on his gun form, I do not take drugs, is going to get out of that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's no he said, she said.
There's pictures.
It's on film.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Joe Biden really hasn't been seen for the past couple of days. And Hunter apparently living at the White House.
Yes.
So they're on hardcore lockdown right now. There's a lot of stuff coming at them.
But think about what we just laid out for you here in the first 9 minutes of the show. But the Republicans aren't going to do anything to Joe Biden. It's already basically been taken off the table that they will not impeach him. McCarthy has basically already said that. And yet Trump was impeached the first time for asking a foreign leader to get him information on this very thing that the Republicans are now investigating and telling people to go home. The Democrats play by a different set of rules than the Republicans. That's why they win more often than not.
It is 16 minutes after 9. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. I love this John Kennedy roasting the energy secretary. He asks him a question, and gosh darn it, he just does not want to answer. It's everything that you think it would be, and it's coming up from 93 WIBC.
The pothole. Formed in colder months, tiny fissures are born, and in no time at all, they grow into big, gigantic tire killers. That's why you need Matt Baird Traffic.
Watch out on Keystone Avenue.
He'll guide you around these hidden monsters.
Yeah, might as well call it a basement.
And on to safer ground.
You don't want to be in the far left lane.
Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
I'd rather ride a bike with my kids
Faster!
than ride in an ambulance.
I'd rather have a catch with my dog Curtis than catch pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like heart disease, asthma, or diabetes, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20 pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Learn more at Prevnar20.com. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-924-4418. 800-924-4418. 800-924-4418.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Indy with Dana Mecum's 36th Original Spring Classic, May 12th through the 20th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. 3,000 muscle cars, Corvettes, exotics, and more. Broadcast live on Motor Trend TV and Motor Trend Plus. From avid collectors to those new to the Mecum experience, we welcome everyone. Register to bid now at Mecum.com.
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the stark inequalities that drive poverty. The poorest communities in the U.S. and around the world are suffering the most. Oxfam believes we can put systems in place to protect health and livelihoods in the future if we work together with dignity and compassion. Learn how you can help offer safety to the most vulnerable and fight for a more resilient future at oxfamamerica.org. Sponsored by Oxfam America.
The greenhouse is full of color at Sundown Gardens. The nursery has a wide selection of great plants and trees at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road. SundownGardens.com, SundownGardens.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
That guy's brain is a bag full of cats. You could smell crazy on him.
And Casey Daniels.
If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln.
On 93 WIBC.
20 minutes after 9, you're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Guess what? We have somebody who threw their hat in the ring to run for governor.
Oh, somebody else. That's great. So you got 3 on the Republican side. You got Rainwater, the Libertarian. And who else?
Jennifer McCormick, former Indiana Superintendent of Public Instruction. She announced she's going to run for governor. She pledged to be a voice for Hoosiers by restoring back common sense and ending what she calls the divisive politics of the supermajority in the state house.
She did. So Jennifer McCormick, she's running as a Democrat. And this is the greatest thing in the history of ever, because Jennifer McCormick exists solely because of Eric Holcomb and Kyle Hupfer, who at the Republican convention in 2016 went all in to defeat a rock-solid conservative who was also running for the superintendent post, and through their full endorsement, full-throated, full-weighted endorsement behind Jennifer McCormick. So Eric Holcomb and Kyle Hupfer, the sitting supposed Republican governor of the state of Indiana and the Republican Party chairman, endorsed and allowed a woman to win the superintendent post as a Republican who will now be the Democrat nominee for governor in 2024.
Yeah.
That is your modern Republican Party. If you were to sum up one example of who Holcomb and Hupfer and the modern Indiana Republican Party are, it would be Jennifer McCormick, a person who is so liberal that she is now going to be the Democrat nominee for governor in 2024.
She said she's running for governor because our political leaders have lost sight of the challenges they were elected to solve. They're defunding and politicizing our schools, burdening us with the nation's highest gas tax, taking our rights away, and standing by as we pay the highest health care costs in the nation.
Isn't it interesting, though? She has all these terrible things to say about Holcomb, which good on her, you know. Welcome to the party, pal. Maybe we'll have her in and we can just have a Holcomb vent session sometime soon. But yet she had no problem taking these people's endorsement and support when she was running for public office. Eric Holcomb and Kyle Hupfer have always been the same people. The things she professes to be upset about, that's who they've always been. They've always been big government, big spenders. Of course, she is too. It's not like she's really concerned about the taxes. But this is who the Republican Party is. When we tell you, when people go, well, we can't have a Democrat in there. Why not? She was a Democrat. Jennifer McCormick, was a Democrat who would become the Republican governor and the leader of the Indiana Republican Party threw their whole weight behind in order to elect as superintendent of education in 2016. And they defeated a rock-solid conservative at said convention in the process. There is no difference. Wake up, people. This is the sort of Republican, air quote, that Holcomb and Hupfer want. These are the people they put in office. A person who is now going to be the Democrat nominee for governor in 2024.
Do you know how she says that we can move our state forward?
How?
By fighting for our public schools.
Well, of course, right? And isn't it interesting that no matter how much money, so we have record money going to public schools, $44 billion budget, over half of it goes to public K through 12. So that's public school math, 23 billion. It's not enough. Record property taxes, over half of that going to public schools. Not enough. It never ends. Stop appeasing these people because it's never going to be enough.
We have some more trending stories that we're going to have to get to later because I want to move on to this John Kennedy roast of the Deputy Energy Secretary. He was, they're asking for so much money.
Yes, $50 trillion.
So much money.
$50 trillion.
Yeah. John Kennedy just wants to know, okay, if we give you all this money, is it going to lower the carbon footprint of this country?
Which it should be a pretty clear-cut answer.
Right. You think, okay, we need this money to do this, and then this is the result.
Right.
But do you think that's the answer we got?
No, probably not.
No, it's not.
Percent of global emissions.
Yeah, but if
right
you could
now.
answer my question, if we spend $50 trillion to become carbon neutral in the United States of America by 2050, you're the Deputy Secretary of Energy. Give me your estimate of how much that is going to reduce world temperatures.
So first of all, it's a net cost. It's what benefits we're having from getting our act together and reducing all of those climate benefits. We're seeing.
Let me ask again. Maybe I'm not being
country.
clear. If we spent $50 trillion to become carbon neutral by 2050 in the United States of America, how much is that going to reduce world temperatures?
This is a global problem. So we need to reduce our emissions and we need to do everything we can.
How much, if we do our part, is it going to reduce world temperatures?
We're 13% of global emissions.
You don't know, do you? You don't know, do you?
You can do the math. We need to.
You don't know, do you, Mr. Secretary?
So we're 13% of
If
global
you know,
emissions.
why won't you tell me?
If we went to zero, that would be 13%.
You don't know, do you? You just want us to spend $50 trillion, and you don't have the slightest idea whether it's going to reduce world temperatures.
Do you get the feeling that they don't even know what they're advocating for half the time? Okay, he says...
Half the time?
Most of the
You're
time.
being very generous, Casey.
I'm in a good mood today. Okay, so if we get rid of the 13% of the carbon emissions, what about the remaining 87%? Who's that on?
Well, and you just hit the nail on the head, and that's why this is such a scam. Even if we did everything, even if we had no emissions whatsoever, well, what about China?
Right.
What about India?
Mm-hmm.
What about all these other, what do they call them, emerging nations? They're not in on any of this. It's always us that has to suffer. It's just like Ukraine. We'll get into that a little bit later. It's always us that has to pay the money. It's always us, in other wars that has to provide the troops. It's always the United States that has to give and give and give and give. What about these people? Nope.
Don't
Nothing.
worry about that. Well, the Deputy Energy Secretary was saying that the United States has to lead the way. If we don't start first, nobody else will.
And that's always what they say, that it's our obligation to be a leader in the world. But amazingly, they don't want American exceptionalism. They don't want American dominance. They just want American money to be leading for other nations in the world, because taking your money is control over you. That's what this is about. Being able to tell you what to do.
And there it is. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And coming up next, we're going to speak with Kristen Ferklick.
Yes, she is, of course, our lady on the spot out there in Brownsburg. She has been trying so hard to get information in regards to this alleged abuse that took place with the special needs student. She continues to get totally stymied by the Brownsburg Police Department attorney. And so we're going to do a deep dive on this. What's going on? Why are they blocking access to information? What is there something they're trying to hide? What possible reason could there be to deny the public information when there have already been charges filed in the case?
It's up next with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
You don't have to be officially engaged to start looking at engagement rings together. I'm a jewelry consultant here at Chain Company, and we have couples come in all the time to see our great selection. A lot of them like to pick out their top 3 rings. They make it a date, and it's fun. With so many options to create a one-of-a-kind ring, you may not know where to start, and that's where we come in. We're here to help. Chain Company has over 1,000 engagement rings in every price range, from sparkling pave styles to elaborate halo designs. High-quality rings in yellow gold, white gold, rose gold, and platinum. For your center stone, Chain Company offers all shapes and sizes of natural diamonds, lab-grown diamonds, and a broad spectrum of natural, colorful gemstones, from over a dozen colors of sapphires, to rubies, to peach morganite, and more. Come see us at Chain Company today, and have some fun picking out your engagement ring together.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
After my wreck, I tried to handle my case on my own. Every time I took one step forward, I took 2 steps back. So I called the Hammer.
I'm attorney Darryl Isaacs, the Hammer. We've seen this game 1,000 times. We'll take on the big insurance companies, and we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve. For your medical bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering.
Get the money you deserve.
Just click and get help quick at WeWin.com. That's WeWin.com.
Hey, Dr. Petraeus.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She's running. A bright 49 degrees here on Monument Circle. I'm Sasha Nixon. Here's what's trending at 9:30. Jennifer McCormick has announced that she will be running for governor of Indiana. The educator from Newcastle had previously hinted that she might run, but she officially announced her candidacy Thursday. She will be running as a Democrat. Indianapolis Animal Care Services is beyond capacity, yet the shelter is still getting requests to take about 45 more animals every day. If something doesn't change, some dogs will have to be euthanized to make space. Right now, the shelter is offering free adoptions, and if you aren't ready to adopt, you can still help in other ways. Learn more at WIBC.com. The average price for gas across the state is currently $3.47 per gallon, according to GasBuddy.com. Now for your WIBC money update. It looks like the Dow is down 68 points right now to 33,424. The S&P is down 12 points and the NASDAQ is down 20 points. I'm Sasha Nixon. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
That's Faber's window. Trust me.
Are you thinking about your next home improvement project, but you need more than a window replacement? Whether it's siding, entry doors, or maybe a bath or shower remodel, design it before you buy it. That's right, B's using the latest in technology to create an architectural design so you can see our products on your house before you purchase. For a limited time, receive 50% off all products, plus special manufacturer rebates and 20 months, no interest, no payments.
Trust me.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Have you noticed that most ice cream has now come in smaller cartons? Not Bluebell. We're still making a full half-gallon and a full pint of tasty goodness. Bluebell wouldn't have it any other way.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Meijer stores.
You're You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Got me a day on the far shore. It's bright and sunny. I'm going on the town tonight.
93 WIBC. It is the Kendall and Casey Show. I'm Rob Casey's here. And Casey, it remains very hard to get any information regarding this very high-profile allegation of abuse of a special needs student in the Brownsburg Community School Corporation.
Yeah, the family of the student has hired a lawyer. The lawyer is asking anybody who has more information to contact them. But we have a lady.
Yes, we've got, well, normally we say we have a guy.
I know, so I had to change it. We got a gal.
Yeah, and full disclosure, I did talk last night with Catherine Michael. She is the attorney for the family.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe next week or the week after, she's going to come on the show and talk about what's going on.
Great.
So we'll hope to get that. But in the meantime, let's head over to the drivehubler.com hotline, joined by our good friend Kristen Ferklick. She has been, she's a resident of Brownsburg, has been trying her best via public records request to get information from the Brownsburg Police Department regarding this police report about the alleged abuse. She continues to get stonewalled, those public records requests denied. Kristen, how are you?
I'm doing great. I wish I was having more success at getting some information about this incident, but I am not.
So you sent, we had you on last week, you had sent just a basic request saying, hey, I'd like the police report. Obviously, charges have been filed. We'd like to know why those charges were filed. And the police department attorney told you to kick rocks. You sent another one, because now it's all in My Case, which is the tracking system that anyone can see what's going on. And they said the same thing.
Absolutely. He sent me a carbon copy of the initial denial, saying the same thing, same code, same everything.
Now, I reached out to a member of the police commission in Brownsburg about this, and he told me it was being denied on the basis of it not being a closed case and still active investigative pieces and parts. What in the world does that mean? They've already charged the people.
That is an interesting take because, yes, as you said, the all 5 cases appear in My Case. I don't know what he's talking about because a case, when the police have completed their investigation, that is when a case is then presented to the prosecutor's office. Then the investigation is reviewed to be determined if charges will be filed.
Yeah, so Kristen Ferklick is our guest. We're talking about the inability to get any information from the Brownsburg Police Department regarding their work, which led to multiple arrests in this alleged abuse of a special needs student at Brown Elementary. Which you make a great point, so Kristen, which is it's in My Case. They filed the charges. Are we led to believe if it's an active investigation that there could be more people involved?
That is a great question. These particular cases that I'm requesting the incident report on specifically indicate in My Case that the court records are open. So I don't know. Is he referring to something else? I don't know.
Well, and so this is the point on all this, Casey, is that there's a total lack of transparency going on. You've got hundreds of parents who have kids in Brown Elementary. You've got thousands of parents who have kids in the Brownsburg Community School Corporation, Casey, and they have no idea what's going on. Absolutely none.
Kristen, I could be wrong, but I'm seeing reports and rumblings that this is not the first incident in Brownsburg. Are you aware of any other situation similar to this?
Are you asking about incidents with special education or just incidents with transparency?
Well, yeah, either one, I guess. Just questionable relationships with students.
There have been, yes, there have been lots of, you could say, questionable incidents, and there has been an ongoing history with getting access to information. There has been a history of them stonewalling parents. Getting information out of this administration is incredibly difficult.
Yes, I can support that. Yes, she's 100% right. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that is 100% right. It is like pulling teeth to try to get information from the Brownsburg Community School Corporation.
Do you feel like this is a situation where the left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing? Based on what Rob has said and based on who you've talked to?
I feel like we have a situation where there is a fundamental there's a fundamental disrespect of parents and the community going on, and a fundamental disrespect of public access law and open door law, if we want to go into that. Without information, citizens are at a distinct disadvantage to know what their government is doing across all, we're talking about the police department here, and it's not about any one local law enforcement agency. It's about how we want our government to work, where the ultimate power lies with the citizens. Information is currency. We are, as citizens, are owed that.
Kristen Ferklick is our guest. We're talking about her quest. It's a quest now to get information regarding this alleged abuse that took place at Brown Elementary of a special needs student. The police department attorney again denying her request for information. I think the biggest question here, Kristen, and look, by the way, everybody should go to the Brownsburg school board meeting Monday night. 6:30 in Brownsburg, 310 Stadium Drive, the address there. Show up and ask these questions. How is it possible, Kristen, that the superintendent, Jim Snap, who rules that place with an iron fist, nobody breathes without him knowing about it, this could have happened and it took 2 months for him allegedly to become aware of it? How is that even possible?
That is an excellent question. Especially with this occurring in a public area, an open area, a lunchroom where you would assume that multiple people, not just 5 people, would have been witnesses.
Yeah. All right. Before we let you go, the Brownsburg School Corporation has turned off their comments on their Twitter account. I know that that was of great interest to you, as it was me.
Yes. They have a history of some shenanigans with the Twitter accounts. They have multiple Twitter accounts in the school system. Specifically, I've dealt with Jim Snap's Twitter account. He at one time blocked me on his Twitter account, and it required some legal intervention to get that taken care of. So I don't know if it's going to require some legal pressure again to get them to behave correctly. Well, I guess that remains to be seen, but this is not a new thing.
Well, we appreciate you and all the work you're doing on this, because the public deserves to know the truth. And that's what I told the attorney for this child and the family last night, is that the truth deserves to come out. That kid deserves justice, and the public deserves to know the truth. Who knew what when? Because right now, the way the police department's behaving, the police attorney at least is behaving, of not releasing information, going out of their way to not release information, and the idea that we are supposed to believe, that the superintendent who rules that place with an iron fist didn't know about this for 2 months. If that's the case, and he has such lax oversight over that school corporation, he should be fired immediately.
I couldn't agree more. And when we have the police department attorney carbon copying the Brownsburg school attorney, we have some very big problems.
Kristen Ferklick, you are the best. Thank you, my friend.
All righty. Thank you so much.
You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, will Pac West Bank be out of business before I make it to the air? Catch me after the news at noon on 93 WIBC. Your Mother's Day shopping has been made easy. All you have to do is go to PA Jewelers in Brownsburg, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg. With truly unbeatable prices, 70% less than competitors. Simple pieces to extravagant jewelry, a huge selection including designer and vintage pieces, and unique offerings from 5 different local jewelry artists. More than a kiss, PA Jewelers inside Premier Arms, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, 317-858-3030. 858-3030.
Gilbert worked in retail and restaurant management for 14 years. It was time for a change.
I recognized where I was at was vulnerable to the whims of the economy.
Then he heard about My Computer Career. Gilbert went for it.
In as little as 7 months, I got all of my certifications at a fraction of a cost for college.
He became an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
I can work from anywhere. I have more time for my family as well.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary. Can you hear it? That's the sound of memories. And making those memories is about to get a whole lot easier. Sportsman's Warehouse is coming to Brownsburg. Join us for our grand opening celebration May 4th through 6th, and let us help you make new memories this year. Gear up for unforgettable at Sportsman's Warehouse.
When 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning shows up at your doorstep, you can expect a friendly, knowledgeable, and prepared technician to handle the task at hand. Getting your service done correctly and on time is our priority. Visit onehourairindy.com to book an appointment online and save $90 off your next repair.
Good morning. It is 9:44. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Did you hear that there was an alleged assassination attempt against Vladimir Putin?
That's the word on the street.
Yep.
Now, that came from Russia, so I'm not sure how trustworthy the Russians are, and I know I'm really going out on a limb there by saying that we may have some questions about the validity of any claim made by Russia, but that is what they're going with.
Yep, they're saying it happened by Ukraine, and of course Kyiv is denying it. And Antony Blinken says that he's taking this with a large shaker of salt.
Sure, of course.
Which means he's not really thinking it's true.
Well, isn't it interesting, right, that Russia obviously is portrayed as the aggressor. They're portrayed as the bad guy. And that is, in all likelihood, probably true. However, I continue to be flabbergasted at our unwavering and undying commitment at great harm to our own country based on the fact that we have cost our citizens untold amounts of money via cutting off energy relationships with Russia. And then on top of that, the billions upon billions of taxpayer printed dollars that have been shipped to a country that we have no obligation to defend or support. And it is not like, wow, Russia is really bullying around Great Britain. Mm-hmm. They're really bullying around France. It's not some country that we have a long, stable relationship with. They're not a longtime friend.
This is not a storied ally.
I don't trust them right now.
Yeah. And we're supposedly about to default on our own debts, yet we're still just sending pallets of cash over to Ukraine.
There is nothing Ukraine has done that would warrant me spending my printed money indefinitely. I mean, it'd have been one thing if they would have come out and said, okay, we're investing $1 billion and this conflict, it will help them do A, B, and C, which will end the conflict within 3 weeks. Okay, reasonable people could have that conversation versus, how much is it worth to teach Russia a lesson, whatever. But this thing is no closer. This is every U.S. conflict ever post-World War II. We have been at it for a year and a half now, and it's no closer to being done than when we started. Mm-hmm. And all we are is out $1 gajillion.
What's the end game here?
Right. They never answer that.
Never. And officials instead, they're saying that this attack could be a pretext created by the Kremlin to escalate the war. But do we even know it really happened? I mean, they could just be saying, oh, there was an attack on the Kremlin.
I mean, look, this is probably an unpopular thing to say, but I'll say it out loud. And I'm not saying it should be the official U.S. policy. But there's a compelling case that just letting Russia do whatever it wanted to do probably long-term would have been better for the U.S. rather than where we're at right now. I'm talking for the U.S. citizen. I'm talking about putting the U.S. citizen first. I said this years ago. We have a vested interest. We should, let me rephrase that. We should have a vested interest in having some form of cooperation with Russia. Because the one thing Russia figures out is that terrorism is bad, because Russia figures out, hey, they'll terrorize us too. So there should be, and at different times in the last 20, 25 years, there has been various levels of cooperation between the Russian and United States government, and that has benefited both countries based on being able to stamp out, identify, prohibit mutual enemies from being able to flourish, thrive, enact terrorism, whatever. But now all we have is $1 gajillion in some country that really, to me, doesn't even prove they like us, has a huge track record of not liking us, and siding with people who certainly don't like us. And now we've just alienated Russia, and we've driven up the price of energy because Russia's gone and given it to someone else.
Well, we put all those sanctions on them, Rob, and those were wildly successful.
Our country would be far better off. And again, I am not, unless you say we're going to be, the honest assessment here is unless you say we're going to be the world's policeman. Now, if that is your official stance, okay, you and I can have a debate on this. But unless you're going to say that we are going to be the world's policeman who's going to intervene anytime any country has a conflict with another country across the globe where we feel one country is being an unfair aggressor, then we have no business being involved in this. The best thing for America, from an American perspective, would have said, we are always the people who pay. We are always the people who pay indefinitely. We are always the people who are always, always, always involved. We're not even close to you people. We actually have a financial and energy security interest in not alienating the Russians. So, hey, Germany, hey, France, hey, every other country over there that's much closer to Ukraine than us,
step up.
Y'all can deal with this one for once, and we're going to stay out of it. But we never stay out of it. We never, ever, 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 ever stay out of it. And you know who gets screwed? Us.
The American people.
Right.
Okay, so McCarthy, you remember this guy. He's the one who, he was invited to Ukraine and said, no, not going.
Yes.
Because they don't get a blank check. They just don't get all the money they want.
Right.
Oh, except for now we're sending more money to Ukraine.
Yes, so Kevin McCarthy, as we talked about, when he was running to be speaker and the Republicans were running, he was saying the same things that we were saying, which is, there's no accounting for this money. We have no idea what we've gotten for this money. We shouldn't be sending them endless money. In Casey, did I or did I not sit here when he was saying that? What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
You said it's going to happen.
Yes. Once he gets what he wants, he will do what his masters and power brokers tell him to do, which is you will continue to send this endless supply of money to Ukraine. Why? Because it props up the military-industrial complex. Who does what? They fund campaigns.
Yeah.
It enriches already very rich and powerful people. That's the way our government operates. And gosh darn it, Casey, and you know, my least favorite part
is when you're right.
Of this show is when I have to come on and be right.
Yeah.
But that's who our politicians are. And if you doubt us, Corinne Jean-Pierre yesterday said more money heading to the Ukraine.
And we're about to announce another critical security assistance to Ukraine. I think that shows our commitment, and we have been very clear that we will support Ukraine as they defend their country against Russia's invasion, and that will continue. That will not stop. And again, we're announcing a security assistance. I think that shows how much we are committed to them fighting for their freedom, fighting the Ukrainian people, fighting for their democracy. And so we've been very clear in not just security assistance and humanitarian aid and economic aid, and that will continue from here.
Not one more penny should go to that country until there is an audit of where every dollar has gone, how it's been spent, what it's been spent on, what we as a country have gotten in return for our money, and when the money is going to stop. When are we done? Not one more dollar should go until those things are answered.
Exactly how much does critical security assistance cost? She didn't say.
What does that even mean, critical security assistance? Other than making American companies who produce the weapons that they're going to use rich, why can't France or Germany
send critical security assistance?
Right.
Yeah.
Why is it always us?
We have a debt ceiling crisis, but let's send more money over there. It's 9:53. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. An Indiana councilman who was born a Caucasian male recently came out as a lesbian woman of color.
Right.
He's pushed back on calls for him to resign.
Yes.
This is in Delaware County. His name is Ryan Webb.
Yes, and so we're going to play you a little piece of audio of a lady at this council meeting the other night who she's not upset about taxes, infrastructure, water and sewer rates, none of that. That didn't get her to the council meeting. But some guy who is clearly just trolling people, not harming anyone on social media, saying that he identifies as a lesbian woman of color. That's what has this woman outraged.
Hi there. First of all, I cannot believe that I had to take time out of my day today to attempt to teach a grown man how to behave appropriately. Ethics, as defined, are moral principles that govern a person's behavior or conducting of an activity. Ryan Webb's lack of professionalism is outstanding and absolutely unethical. I've worked for the past 21 years. Many people here work your whole life, you know. And as we all know, jobs require a certain amount of integrity to be exercised. In none of my jobs in the last 21 years, and that is many, many jobs, would I have been permitted to mock and disrespect my customers. If I did, I would be fired. We are your customers, the people. You are a public official. Mr. Webb's comments
This is what has this lady upset. She goes on and on and on and on.
She goes on and points at all the council members and said that they should all be fired.
The daily abuses of government and how much they steal from you and how they limit what you can do. Nothing for her. But some guy saying he's a lesbian woman of color and that in no way impacts her, well, that's what has her over the edge.
I don't know if it's true, but from now on, Rob, Kendall and Casey, we're going to identify as the #1 show in all of Indiana. It's 93 WIBC.
Taking the family on a little road trip to Wisconsin later this summer, and you can bet I am not leaving without my AAA card. So if the family truckster breaks down in the middle of nowhere, I have that peace of mind that AAA has my back. Plus, you can get complimentary travel planning and access to discounts on hotels, cruises, rental cars, and much more. They can make sure you get the best price on your next vacation just by being a AAA member.
Plus, if you run into trouble on the road when you're out of town this summer, AAA has you covered. Flat tire, dead battery, run out of gas, lock your keys in the car. You name it, AAA is there for you 24/7, 365, no matter where your travels take you. It makes the perfect gift for somebody, perhaps for graduation. So, before your summer travels get underway, do yourself a favor. Join AAA today. Visit AAA.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Dr. Trudy Fleer here with the 5G Home Recovery Podcast. Today, we're talking obstacles and obstruction. So many people are dealing with obstacles like walls, trees, even weather that can obstruct their T-Mobile home internet signal. Here's the thing. Nobody should choose between trees and internet. Nobody should be forced into an open floor plan just to get online. You can always choose internet that's reliable through walls. Just get Xfinity. Learn more at xfinity.com/TMOFacts.
Now through June 21st, new customers can get started with 200 megabit per second Xfinity internet on the Xfinity 10G network for less than what you would pay for T-Mobile home internet. It's all just $35 a month for 2 years with no annual contract and Wi-Fi equipment included. Go to xfinity.com/TMOFacts, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
There's nothing more important than time. Time for you and time for family. If issues like high blood pressure or high cholesterol run in your family, make time for highly skilled heart care too. At Indiana University Health, you can book a same-day appointment with the state's most preferred provider of cardiovascular care. See a top cardiologist today, then get back to what's most important without skipping a beat. Visit iuhealth.org/heart to book your appointment today.
Edwards Equipment in Danville, one of America's first Kubota dealers, is celebrating 50 years in business, and customers are the winner. From your lawn to the farm, family-owned Edwards Equipment in Danville has the experience and Kubota products to improve your outdoor living. May 13th is Edwards Customer Appreciation Event. Lunch is provided, and the WIBC Home and Garden Show will be broadcasting on-site. Stop by and test drive your new piece of Kubota equipment. Special financing will be available. Celebrating 50 years in business, Edwards Equipment in Danville.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I'm Sasha Nixon. You've got your news coming up after Fox News at 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
We're 1 week away. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. From Title 42 expiring, the COVID policy that blocked some migrants at the border. So a new surge of illegal crossings is coming. Border Agent John Anfinson tells the Fox News Rundown podcast.
No matter what process is in place, it's going to get overwhelmed, and we are going to be releasing people to the streets. Period. That's coming. Again.
Ahead of that surge, the head of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, is going to the border.
Mayorkas is expected to visit the Rio Grande Valley today and tomorrow to review Border Patrol and ICE planning, as well as meet with staff, local leaders, and law enforcement. Republicans have warned ending Title 42 will cause a, quote, tsunami, and that all hell is going to break loose.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz, Republicans in Congress, already investigating Hunter Biden's business dealings, are now asking the FBI to provide documents they claim may show President Biden, before he was in that office, accepted bribes years ago.
The House Oversight Committee and Senator Chuck Grassley are alleging, according to this whistleblower, that the FBI and DOJ have been sitting on this report that includes new information that then Vice President Joe Biden was allegedly involved in this pay-to-play scheme.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House, which calls it an unfounded, unproven, politically motivated attack. Russia is blaming the U.S. for helping Ukraine launch a drone attack on the Kremlin it claims was an assassination attempt on Vladimir Putin, which the U.S. and Ukraine deny. And Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky went to The Hague in the Netherlands, home of the International Criminal Court.
We all want to see different Vladimir here.
He wants Russian leader Vladimir Putin there, convicted, sentenced for war crimes. Deion Patterson's due in court today in Georgia to face murder charges. He was captured last night, accused of killing a woman and injuring 4 others in an Atlanta medical office building. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She's running a bright 49 degrees here on Monument Circle. I'm Sasha Nixon for Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 10:02. Once a Republican, now Dr. Jennifer McCormick says she will be running for governor as a Democrat. Kurt Darling reports.
McCormick released a campaign video Thursday morning announcing her plans to run for governor.
There's a lot at stake in Indiana today. Our schools, the economy, our rights.
She mentioned her time as state superintendent, what is now the state secretary of education. She criticized lawmakers for looking after their own agendas and not the needs of Hoosiers. She says she'll bring accountability back to the state house. McCormick joining Bob Kern as the only two Democrats to announce plans to run for governor in 2024. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Temperatures are climbing across central Indiana today. With the warmer temps, though, you should expect some rain as early as Friday. Meteorologist Gregory Mello with the National Weather Service Indianapolis tells WIBC.
Our next rain chance will be tomorrow and into tomorrow night. We'll have some rain possibly moving through, mainly for the southwest portions of the area. We're not confident on how far the rain will get into central Indiana. And then we'll have more chances for rain through the weekend and into early next week.
Continue monitoring the weather right here on 93 WIBC. Indianapolis Animal Care Services is officially beyond capacity, yet the shelter is still getting requests to take about 45 more animals every day. If something doesn't change, some dogs will have to be euthanized to make space. Right now, the shelter is offering free adoptions, and if you aren't ready to adopt, you can still help in other ways. Learn more at WIBC.com. The average price for gas across the state is currently $3.47 per gallon, according to GasBuddy.com. And for film fans, today is Star Wars Day, so May the 4th be with you. I'm Sasha Nixon, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Diamonds Direct invites you to join us as we celebrate all the moms in our lives. This Mother's Day, we're giving Mom more to say thank you for all she does. With every fashion jewelry purchase of $2,500 or more, we'll give Mom a free customizable diamond initial pendant valued at nearly $800. We've put together an exceptional collection of meaningful gifts for any budget. The perfect heirloom pieces to pass down to the next generation of moms. Birthstone rings, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. This year, she deserves a gift that keeps giving, and at Diamonds Direct, that's our specialty. Timeless gifts of jewelry she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come. Now's a great time to upgrade her diamond studs or pendant with Diamonds Direct's unmatched 110% upgrade. Come let the experts at Diamonds Direct help you find that remarkable gift that says cheers, Mom, for all you do and for who you are. Diamonds Direct. Get locations and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Sundown Gardens, Hamilton County's spring flowers headquarters.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together
on 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, May 4th. It is 5 minutes after 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Well, a Tallahassee woman is now in hot water because she threw a glass of wine at U.S. Rep. Matt Gaetz over the weekend. They were at this food and wine festival in Miramar Beach, and Matt was there with his wife, Ginger, and the glass of wine hit Ginger in the shoulder, and now this 41-year-old Tallahassee woman was arrested, charged with battery, and released on $1,000 bail. So the key to this lesson,
Yes.
You may not like them, but you can't resort to violence. You cannot throw things at politicians no matter how much they anger you.
Right, yeah. So we have laid out the rules here before that when you see someone out in public, certainly someone the level of a congressman, you absolutely have the right to, and look, I've always been this way, Casey, and people who have known me for years would know that when I was an elected official, I was the same way. You are an elected official. You are always an elected official. That part of that responsibility is wherever you go, you are always on the job. And so I have never felt bad if there's somebody I have a desire to talk to and they are out at a Walmart or eating dinner or whatever else, walking up to them and telling them what you think. Now, you don't get up in their personal space. You don't violate any laws. You certainly don't throw things at people. But I've never been one to say, well, I'm on my personal time. No, you're not. Because what you do affects me. You don't have personal time. And I can say this because I walked the walk on this, that when you are an elected official, you have all the power over everyone, but you also have the responsibility that comes with that. And part of that is you don't have any safe space in terms of you can't talk to me about whatever.
Wasn't it Pete Buttigieg who was walking around Washington, D.C., and a reporter was trying to ask him questions, and he kept saying, no, this is my personal time. If you want to talk to me, make an appointment with my office.
Yeah, that does not exist when you are an elected official because you're always getting paid. Even when they go on vacation, they're still getting a check. And two, at any time, they can come back and totally screw you over in a bevy of ways. So no, I've never. Now it's totally different if it's a celebrity of some sort. Then yes, that person absolutely has personal space, and you shouldn't go up to them and get in there, talk to them while they're doing whatever. But an elected person, someone who is taking public money, your money, you are their boss, and has the ability to affect the way you live your life, then that is a 24/7 job. And you are never exempted from having to hear what the public has to say.
At this point, you would think Matt Gaetz would be used to it because this is the first time that this has happened to him. But he's been working with AOC recently. They've historically clashed in the past, been on opposing ends of the political spectrum. But this week, they introduced the Bipartisan Restoring Faith in Government Act, and this would ban members of Congress and their spouses from trading stocks.
I like this. Now, this is so funny because I was just talking with our executive producer, Matt Hiblin, back in his office during the break, and we were chuckling because he said, we've got to find more things for you to be positive about. And so I simply responded to him. I said, Matt, look at our government. What is there to be positive about? And he simply said, good point.
We'll have to get the whiteboard out and just brainstorm.
Well, that's what he said. He said, I'm going to start writing down some ideas. And here we go. Something to be positive about. Matt, I hope you're listening. This is something that people should be excited about because it is bipartisan cooperation between two people on the polar opposite ends of the spectrum, Matt Gaetz and AOC, to ban congressional insider trading.
Members of Congress have traded $788 million worth of securities last year alone.
These people walk in regular folk and leave millionaires, so many of them. How is that possible on what they make versus where they live, that you can go in a regular person and come out a millionaire? The way they do it is through legalized insider trading. They have written the law so that if they do things that you or I did, we'd go to federal prison, and it's fine for them. And to their credit, Matt Gaetz and AOC, who probably don't agree on just about anything, do agree on this and have put this bill forward, and I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, at least 78 members.
Did you hear that, Matt? I think it's wonderful.
It's so good. So good. At least 78 members of Congress failed to properly report their trades for the end of 21 through 23. And so Matt Gaetz, he says, working with AOC to ban Congress insider trading. Well, he had some thoughts about AOC. Let's take a listen.
AOC is wrong a lot. She'd probably say the same thing about me, but she's not corrupt. And I will work with anyone and everyone to ensure that Congress is not so compromised. We should disallow congressional stock trading for the same reason we don't allow the referee to bet on the game. And this is not a small amount of money. $788 million worth of securities traded by members of Congress last year. About 1 in every 4 members of Congress is doing this, and it's not exactly like I'm elected with a bunch of Gordon Geckos and Bobby Axelrods. Take Lois Frankel, who you just mentioned. Yeah. She's been a lawmaker since I was 5 years old. And I'm supposed to believe that all of a sudden she's making moves like she's Warren Buffett? This congressional stock trading has all of the fairness of like a Leah Thomas swimming competition, and I think we should put an end to it.
Okay, so will this restore people's trust in our elected officials? Really depends on if it passes, even, because there's a lot of people that they have stocks. They probably don't want this to pass. They want to keep insider trading.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I mean, this is how these people make their money. But this is another example of how the government rigs everything in their favor. Look at our state, Casey. What did our lawmakers do while everyone else is getting crushed with gas and property taxes?
Oh, gave themselves raises.
State House gave themselves $1.5 million in raises. And when you call them on it, they try to blame somebody else and go, well, the formula said. Well, who the hell writes the formula? You guys write the formula. Same thing. What'd they do? They gave the governor $65,000 in raises. Their excuse? Well, it's not the current governor. It's the next governor. Same thing with the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, the secretary of state, the state treasurer, the state auditor. All the government people keep getting taken care of. So I guess, Casey, if you're pulling in $75K-ish, which is what these guys will be making once these new raises kick in the State House, I guess a $400 increase in your property taxes ain't no big deal.
They got the money to swing it. So these elected officials, they're going to have to put their stocks into a trust that is policed by an independent body if this Stock Act passes.
There should be absolutely no buying or selling or trading of any stock or investment when you are in the United States Congress. If you don't want to play by those rules, then don't be in the U.S. Congress. There should be great responsibility that comes with being one of the most 535 most powerful people in our country. And if you don't want that responsibility, then find something else.
It's 13 minutes after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And a majority of voters believe that Secretary of State Antony Blinken should be impeached for his role in helping to suppress the New York Post's laptop from hell story. This, of course, going all the way back to the 2020 presidential campaign. 60% actually believe that he should be impeached. You know what surprises me the most about this, Rob? Is that 60% of people know who he is.
Yes, that's really interesting, isn't it? So Breitbart had a little expose on this, and what this really comes down to is, so Blinken, before he was obviously in his official position as part of the Biden administration, was a campaign advisor, and he was very influential and kind of got the wheels turning on getting 51 different former intelligence officers to try to refute the Hunter Biden laptop story, which has been true. And so what the public is saying is based on that, because Blinken, like everyone else, knew it was true. By the way, the fact that 51 former intelligence officials
signed,
should tell you all you need to know. Gee, no wonder we thought there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, Casey.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. This is our intelligence community, and they thought the Hunter Biden laptop story was fake?
Just look at the
Russian,
pictures.
what they call Russian disinformation.
Yeah, so Blinken said it wasn't his idea. He didn't ask for it. He didn't solicit it. And from his perspective, he's not engaging in politics. It is 15 after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And coming up, we're going to hear from the representative of Tennessee and his take on voting against McCarthy's debt ceiling and why. That's on the way from 93 WIBC.
I remember those family moments listening to the Indianapolis 500.
The magic of May.
Pool party, grill out, beers, hot dogs, listen to the race.
The traditions.
The playing of taps right before the start of the race.
The drivers.
Rick Mears.
Elio Castroneves. Al Unser Jr.
The memories.
Everybody tailgating and having a good time.
For more than 70 years.
AJ Foyt takes the lead from Eddie Saxon.
Your home of the Indianapolis 500. 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel. I've got amazing news from Window Nation. You can modernize and reinvest in your home today with new windows from Window Nation. And it's their best deal. 0% interest for 5 full years. And on top of that, you get 2 windows with every 2 you buy. You'll get all the advantages of more comfort, lower energy bills, higher home value, all with the impeccable construction and expert installation Window Nation is known for.
Window Nation has placed nearly 2 million windows with 96% perfection, making them one of the top window companies in America. If your home is over 15 to 20 years old, this is one of the smartest investments you can make. Call today, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Lock in these incredible savings. 0 interest for 5 years. That's 60 months interest-free plus 2 free windows with every 2 that you purchase. It's only for a limited time, though, so don't miss out. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Hey there, it's JMV. If you have clogged drains, listen up. There are some clogs a plunger simply cannot fix. That's
That's when you need a professional, and I highly recommend the team at LD Smith Plumbing to handle any water problem in your home, especially clogged drains. They have the know-how and the latest equipment to find the clog and remove it. They're truly water's boss. In the frustration of clogged drains, visit ldsmithplumbing.com today and request an appointment. That's ldsmithplumbing.com today.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Indy's biggest party is back. Miller Lite Carb Day, Friday, May 26th, with Brian Adams. With special guest Soul Asylum. Miller Lite Carb Day, May 26th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Concert pit and VIP tickets on sale now at ims.com.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show.
Dale Griffith, how the hell are you? Well, I'm still $1 million shy of being a millionaire.
On 93 WIBC.
That's a new one, isn't it? Yeah, it's good stuff, Kev.
Made that yesterday.
Yeah, anything planes, trains, and automobiles. Let's go.
Nice work. 19 minutes after 10. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So King Charles III's coronation ceremony is happening this weekend, 9 months after he ascended to the throne. He'll be formally crowned at Westminster Abbey. In doing so, he's going to become the nation's 40th sovereign. It takes place Saturday, and if you want to get up bright and early, 5 a.m., that's when the proceedings begin, and they're expected to last about 2 hours. Donald Trump was recently talking about King Charles. A few thoughts on him. He's also blasting Meghan Markle for disrespecting the Queen and says that he's surprised that Prince Harry was even invited to the coronation.
I think it's going to be a great day, and I think that they will do a great job.
Yeah.
And he loves the country. Really, I got to know him quite well, and he loves the country, really loves the country, and he loved his mother. And that's why I thought she was treated so disrespectfully by Meghan, and just no reason to do that. I was actually surprised that Harry was invited, to be honest.
If you want to watch the coronation, you can see it on NBC, CNN, ABC, Fox. They're all expected to carry it.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of publicity for this, does it? I mean, I scour the news each day. And while there might be
one or two stories come out.
Yeah, you would think it would be
everywhere.
And it does not seem like. And I mean, I visit various news sites. You would a wide variety of different areas to try to find stories for the show. It does not seem like many are putting a lot of attention into it.
Also trending this story this morning is this large object from the Greenwood Starbucks. Don't know if you've ever seen this sign. It's the Starbucks sign at the corner of East Main Street and Emerson Avenue in Greenwood. Apparently, some high winds have caused the big, what they call Starbucks moon, to come tumbling down. And employees said that they heard a loud crash, and then the sign fell, and now it's taking up residence in 3 parking spots in the Starbucks parking lots.
There you go.
And finally, trending this morning, Darden Restaurants is buying Ruth's Chris Steakhouse for $715 million. Now, Darden Restaurants is one of the largest restaurant companies in the country. They own Olive Garden.
Oh, yes.
So now the Olive Garden company is going to own the steakhouse.
No, you are very wealthy, so you probably can afford to eat at the Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Kev and I, on the other hand, are barely squeaking by. We are not really allowed to go over there. And so as such, I hope you have a great time under the new management, and let us know how the new service is over at the Ruth Chris Steakhouse.
They really do make a good steak. They also have something on the menu, the sweet potato casserole.
Oh.
It's delicious, Rob. It tastes like dessert. If you ever go, make sure you order it.
I love that I just said how poor I was, and Casey's like, if you're ever rich enough to make it over to the Ruth Chris Steakhouse, get the sweet potato casserole.
What's the wine selection like over there?
They do have Silver Oak on the menu.
Silver Oak?
Yeah.
Is that the Napa Valley or California wine?
Yeah.
So when you do the thing you do at the local bars where you take 93 minutes to order a glass of wine, that place there, you're paying for them to be nice to you. So they don't give you the look of lady, hurry the heck up like the
No. You know what? I have not been to Ruth Chris here in downtown Indy, but I have been to the one in northern Indiana a few times.
Well, let us know how it goes.
Okay.
As we sit over here and eat our items that came out of a bag.
Okay. 22 after 10. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Let's talk about what's going on with the representative from Tennessee, Tim Burchett. He explains why he voted against Speaker McCarthy's debt ceiling plan.
So he says all the things, and I think it's good when sometimes we play audio of other people saying the same things that we're saying. And what he's saying is the truth. This isn't going to do anything to make any sort of meaningful difference in federal spending, in the nation's national debt. We will continue to add to the debt. It will continue to drive inflation. It will continue to make us beholden to other very bad places and people who don't like us. And so I think sometimes it's just better if people hear the same things we say from other people.
I think that we just need to be responsible, ma'am. We're not being responsible. And, to say we're cutting the rate of growth, and that's a sucker's bet. That's a freshman accounting trick, and I mean that's Washington accounting, because the reality it's growing at an exponential amount. It cut 1.5 trillion. I mean, it added 1.5 trillion per year to the debt, and we just can't keep going this way. We've got the majority. Let's if we have to, let's slow this thing down. I think we need to bring the president to the table. Speaker McCarthy was masterful in getting all the things that he did get in the bill, but to me, it didn't go far enough, and we're just voting for more debt, and we can't do that. We are in serious trouble, and I don't think people realize it.
Okay, I do have a question about one thing he said. Speaker McCarthy was masterful of getting all the things he did get in the bill, but the bill was so bad that I wouldn't vote for it.
So how can he be masterful?
Were you thinking that as well?
Yeah, exactly. You can't be both at the same time.
And again, Justin Amash put this out the other day, and I thought it was a great kind of way to sum up what we're talking about here. Justin Amash, former U.S. rep from, I believe it was Michigan, that under the Republican plan that we're told is so great and is going to take care of everything, the nation's debt will be $47 trillion in 2033. Mm-hmm. That will add 15-ish trillion to where we are now.
Masterful.
In 10 years, we're still adding 1.5 trillion a year. Now, the Democrat plan, the Biden plan, makes it 52 trillion, but that's what we're talking about here. McCarthy's not helping or stopping anything.
What's the difference of $5 trillion among friends, right? Okay, so he said that things that Republicans ask for are reasonable, but the White House doesn't want to negotiate. And then he went on to say that the American public needs to demand more from our leadership, and that's where he stands.
Yeah.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC at 10:26. And coming up next, we're going to hear from you with your voicemails on 93 WIBC.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Have you noticed that most ice creams now come in smaller cartons? Not Bluebell. We're still making a full half-gallon and a full pint of tasty goodness. Bluebell wouldn't have it any other way.
The good old days are being made right now.
The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at select Kroger stores.
Imagine
if you could get a 35% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. When you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. And if you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus. It's Terry Stacy. Learn how you could get a 35% bonus from Bill Demery, my retirement guy. I know and trust Bill Demery, and you can too. Not only will you get a 35% bonus, you'll sleep well, knowing your money is backed by an A-plus insurance company that's been in business for 140 years and has $2.5 trillion in assets. To learn more about this limited time offer to get a 35% bonus, call 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912.
A well-maintained garage is the key to a safe, organized home. Hey, good morning. It's Casey. But without proper protection, the floor of your garage can quickly become worn and unraveled over time due to wear and tear, spills, and other environmental factors. Well, that's why Galaxy Concrete Coatings is here to help. Call them in Fishers at 317-751-9070 for indoor and outdoor concrete. For your driveway, pool deck coating, patio, your garage, it's UV and yellow resistant and less hotter than regular concrete. Call them today or find them online, galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. The greenhouse is full of color with summer annuals and hanging baskets arriving daily. Don't forget about the beautiful tropicals and ferns in stock now at Sundown Gardens. You know, Sundown's nursery has a wide selection of great plants and trees, including some wonderful specimen conifers. For best selection, just get to Sundown Gardens this week at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. And be sure and ask about their loyalty program, too. SundownGardens.com. That's SundownGardens.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Now, a Democrat. 55 degrees here on Monument Circle. I'm Sasha Nixon. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Once a Republican, now Dr. Jennifer McCormick says she will be running for governor as a Democrat. Kurt Darling reports.
McCormick released a campaign video Thursday morning announcing her plans to run for governor.
There's a lot at stake in Indiana today. Our schools, the economy, our rights.
She mentioned her time as state superintendent, what is now the state secretary of education. She criticized lawmakers for looking after their own agendas and not the needs of Hoosiers. She says she'll bring accountability back to the state house. McCormick joining Bob Kern as the only two Democrats to announce plans to run for governor in 2024. Kirk Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You should expect some rain as early as Friday. Meteorologist Gregory Mello with the National Weather Service Indianapolis tells WIBC.
Our next rain chance will be tomorrow and into tomorrow night. We'll have some rain possibly moving through, mainly for the southwest portions of the area. We're not confident on how far the rain will get into central Indiana. And then we'll have more chances for rain through the weekend and into early next week.
And for film fans, today is Star Wars Day, so May the 4th be with you. I'm Sasha Nixon, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The greenhouse is full of color at Sundown Gardens. There's a full array of tropicals and ferns, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road, SundownGardens.com, SundownGardens.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatments at 317-559-PAIN.
I'm so sorry you have just reached my answering machine.
Well, regardless what the ratings say, we're identifying as the #1 show in all of Indiana, and that's because of you, our listeners. We love hearing from you. 317-684-8444. It's time for your voicemails at 10:32 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Okay, a couple phone calls to get to, and then we'll have an extended segment with Hammer coming up. Somebody called. I thought this was a really good call. This guy called about Trump running for president, and he touched on some of the challenges that Trump is going to face. And again, they are many of the things that we have talked about. And so sometimes I just think it's good when people hear from others than me saying the same thing that I'm saying.
Hey, I was just listening to this podcast the other day, and they thought that if Trump is the nominee for the Republican Party, that he will easily beat Biden because the Democrats don't have COVID to fall back on to pull all of their shenanigans. But I have to disagree with that because I'm sure leftist states will still send out all those mass ballots like they did last time, regardless if there's COVID or not.
I think he's absolutely right. People, look, the mass mail and unaccountable voting in places like Pennsylvania is totally here to stay. I mean, until the governor's office changes, which they just elected the Democrat there, they're going to keep mailing people ballots. And so it doesn't matter whether COVID is a thing or not. The institution now exists. The ballot harvesting, it is a thing.
Right.
And it's not going away.
And, well, we've got to play by those rules.
Yeah. And this is why Republicans are really missing an opportunity by fighting. If that's going to be the rule, stop fighting the rule.
And start playing the game.
Yes, and start figuring out how to operate inside the system that is the rules. Republicans have got to get better at ballot harvesting. They got to get better at making sure people get the ballots. They got to get better at making sure the ballots get back in. It is what it is, and until a court says it ain't that, then you better figure out how to make the world operate.
What an interesting take, though, that Biden can't fall back on COVID until a new variant's released.
Well, and I'm not sure
to scare everybody.
I'm not sure people even care anymore how much they're abused by their government. I'm not sure it even. I mean, obviously there are people who care. They listen to this radio show every day, but I'm not sure as a collective society cares. I mean, look at who keeps getting reelected. Many of the same people who were the lockdown mandate kings and queens of 2020, many of them still here doing the same stuff.
And doing nothing to rescind emergency powers.
Right.
Of Eric Holcomb. I mean, he can still do what he wants at this point.
By the way, again, can we remind everybody that today Jennifer McCormick did declare that she's running for governor on the Democrat side. And let's point out that Jennifer McCormick is only a thing because Eric Holcomb and Kyle Hupfer, through their unwavering support behind Jennifer McCormick in 2016 at the Republican convention to be the state superintendent. That's before they took away your right to vote for superintendent because, well, they have to control everything down at the State House. So they just took away your right to vote on that. But they were totally behind her, even though they knew she was a Democrat at the time, because they hate conservatives so much that they would rather have a Democrat in there. So just remember, when you're a person who goes, well, I don't like the Republicans, but I can't risk having a Democrat in the office. The woman who's going to be the Democrat nominee for governor in 2024, in all likelihood, was the hand-picked person of Eric Holcomb and the Republican Party chair, Kyle Hupfer, to run for superintendent because they hate conservatives more than they hate Democrats. So just remember that. There is no difference.
She says as state superintendent, she fought to take politics out of the classroom and ensure every child has access to the best education possible. And then we have the release of all those videotapes with teachers putting politics into the classroom.
Jennifer McCormick is a radical left public education, angry red shirt teacher supporting maniac. But she was the handpicked choice of Eric Holcomb and Kyle Hupfer. They knew what she was when they did that because the establishment of the Republican Party would much rather work with liberals and Democrats than they would conservatives. So again, if you're a person next year who says, well, state rep, state senator, governor, U.S. Senate, whatever it is, well, I don't really like this person, but, well, I can't risk a Democrat being in there. There is, for the most part, no difference between these two parties.
Uniparty.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, somebody called about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yesterday that saw, who was it? Sheryl Crow, Missy Elliott.
Yep.
George Michael.
Willie Nelson.
While people like Warren Zevon were told your services are not needed here.
Hey, Rob and Casey, just call out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees, and I have to agree with you, Rob. Most of those are not rock and roll artists. Sheryl Crow, no. George Michael, no. Missy Elliott, no. Even though I like some of Kate Bush's stuff, she's definitely not rock and roll. The only two bands that even remotely could be in there are Rage Against the Machine and the Spinners. And even the Spinners are more of a doo-wop Motown group than they are rock and roll. So Rage Against the Machine is the only band that really should be put in, if you ask me. But you're right, there's so many bands that should have been inducted long before these guys were. And Styx and definitely Foreigner should be in there. And I'm thinking Kansas hasn't been in there yet. I could probably name a dozen or more bands that need to be in there long before these people are. Sorry, but if it's going to be the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it should be rock and roll artist, or like you said, make it the Music Hall of Fame. If you want to put in rap and country and all this other, I don't want to say garbage music, because some of it's good, but a lot of it sucks. So anyways, that's my input on that. Talk to you later.
Yeah. They should just change the name
Absolutely.
to the Music Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. But think about this. They think Missy Elliott, in the history of, even if you changed it to the Music Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
you think Missy Elliott and Sheryl Crow have had a bigger impact than Foreigner or Styx or REO Speedwagon?
Well, I think the whole idea that they're going for is that they want to expose people to different kinds of music. So, like, you know, a George Michael fan might see that Missy Elliott got inducted, and then they'll start listening to rap.
Did you just say that with a straight face? Are you being serious?
That's what they're actually. I read that. That's what they're going for.
Say that again. That's what they're doing. What?
So they're trying to just expose people to different types of music. So they're thinking, like, you know, a Sheryl Crow fan might see that Missy Elliott got inducted,
and then go listen to Missy Elliott's music.
So they're not even inducting people on merit. They're just saying we want people exposed to wide varieties of music, and so we're not going to pick the best people or people who fit the genre.
Right.
This is just some scam to get people to listen to whatever music we want them to listen to.
I get your point, Kevin.
That wasn't my point. That's what they said. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
But if somebody is into Willie Nelson because he's one of the inductees, that person's not going to go listen to Missy Elliott's music.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, those are.
Are you telling me you read this somewhere?
Yeah, I read this. It was someone from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that said that.
Well, now I'm even more angry than I was before, and I didn't think that was possible. What a joke.
14 nominees in all, right? And they do say that the class reflects a wide range of artists across all genres, from country to rock singers and everything in between, soulful pop and even soul.
Is that not the dumbest thing you've ever heard, that our goal for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame
is to get people to listen to non-rock and roll? We know you're here for the rock and roll, but try the country. Try the rap.
You've got to be kidding me.
Just expanding it, I guess. It is 10:40. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And I wanted to touch on this briefly, Rob. We mentioned it yesterday in regards to those students who had overdosed in Avon.
Yes.
And I did a little digging and wrote an article for the side piece at WIBC.com. And next week is National Prevention Week. And it's a time to discuss drug problems within the community. There are more than 103,000 drug overdose deaths in the last 12 months. For the past year, almost 104,000 drug overdose. And fentanyl becoming more widespread. Of course, we've touched on this in the past. And the DEA has seized the equivalent of more than 410 million lethal doses of fentanyl just last year. And Wallet Hub released their report, states with the biggest drug problems, and Indiana does rank. We're not in the top 10, but we are 12th in the country. And many people were guessing what the number one state was, thinking it was Texas. It was not. It was New Mexico, followed by West Virginia, and then D.C., Louisiana, and then Colorado, Indiana again at 12. But the Indiana Department of Health reporting 41 people under the age of 24 died of an overdose just in Marion County last year. And in Hendricks County, they had those 2 Avon High School students who died of drug overdose since March. And in Marion County, there were 67 overdose calls last year from more than 300 public, private, and charter schools. So there's another study out there from Myriad Genetics, and it said that 77% of Americans admit to using at least one addicting behavior or unhealthy coping mechanism. And they said that mental health and addiction often go hand in hand, yet the stigma associated with admitting you have a mental health issue is often greater than escaping to drug use.
You know, that's really interesting you said that, Casey, because I think I've shared with you one of the people that I work with at my other job is very open about his recovery from very serious drug addiction. And one of the things that he does now, and we were actually talking about this yesterday, is he goes out and speaks to large groups of people who are experiencing various forms of addiction. And I was talking with him about being open about that because for many people, that would be a very shameful thing. And he said, absolutely not. And I was saying, well, you know, you probably tell people you don't want them to be like you. He said, no, I do want them to be like me. I want them to be alive, and I want them to be able to be open about it. And I want them to encourage others not to do what I have done. And so we need more people who have experienced this, lived through it, whatever, to be open about it, because I think a lot of times people feel isolated and alone and ashamed about some of the issues that they're going through.
I just think it's shocking that 77% of people say that they would rather be addicted to drugs than admit that they need help.
Yeah.
Because they're suffering from some mental health challenge. But I have placed a link on WIBC.com if you or somebody you know is struggling. And there's also the Indiana Mental Health and Addiction Hotline. That number is 800-662-HELP. It's 10:44. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and you can turn crossovers into cash with FanDuel. Visit FanDuel.com/WIBC right now and place a $5 bet, and you'll get an instant $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. It's a safe and secure app, and you get paid instantly. Your winnings in your account ASAP. There is no better place to bet all the playoff action than America's #1 sports book. Just go to FanDuel.com/WIBC and sign up to get $150 in bonus bets when you bet your first $5. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Again, FanDuel.com/WIBC to get $150 in bonus bets. 21 plus and present in Indiana. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
Have you saved enough? Do you have a plan for Social Security and taxes in retirement? Hey, Casey Weed of Howard Bailey Financial, where our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we want to give you our Retire with Purpose toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you can't outlive. Plus, you'll receive a copy of my book, Job Optional. To get your complimentary toolkit, call or text the keyword INFO 42 to 866-482-9559. That's INFO 42 to 866-482-9559.
Howard Bailey Financial is the official wealth management partner of Notre Dame Athletics. Notre Dame Athletics was compensated for this endorsement and is not a current client of Howard Bailey. For more information, please visit howardbailey.com/ND-disclosure. Investment advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Working with Howard Bailey Securities LLC cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
Express your love for mom with great deals from Family Dollar. Start your day with fresh coffee prepared with K-Cups from Green Mountain, Mick Cafe, or Donut Shop for only $6.95. Surprise her with something special like comfortable sleepwear from $8 to $10, casual dresses starting at $7, or gift cards and scented candles starting at only $5. Then wrap it all up with assorted gift bags and handmade cards for just $1.25. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Mecum Auction, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Indy with Dana Mecum's 36th Original Spring Classic, May 12th through the 20th at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. 3,000 muscle cars, Corvettes, exotics, and more. Broadcast live on Motor Trend TV and Motor Trend Plus. From avid collectors to those new to the Mecum experience, we welcome everyone. Register to bid now at Mecum.com.
The wait is over. Sportsman's Warehouse is here in Brownsburg, and we're inviting you to our grand opening celebration this weekend. Stop by May 4th through 6th to save big on outdoor favorites, and make sure to get there early to score free Sportsman's gear. Enter our grand opening sweepstakes for a chance to win gift cards, guns, binoculars, fishing gear, and more. Look for the QR codes in store. Gear up for unforgettable at Sportsman's Warehouse.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Listen to Tony Katz this week, 6 to 9 a.m. for your chance to win 2 tickets to the GMR Grand Prix on Saturday, May 13th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. More info at WIBC.com.
Oh, ho, ho.
Good morning. It is 10:49. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Rob, you can leave the room right now.
He's feeling frisky.
Look at you today. Sun's out, guns out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think you did that for me today, right?
You think so?
I think so.
You asked me who I was trying to impress, and I said clearly nobody because I didn't even do my hair today. So,
one of my favorite things in sports history was there was a player for the Oakland A's, and I can't remember who it was, but he was slumping real bad. So he let his teammates pick his walk-up music, and it was that. It was Careless Whisper. And that night, he went like 3 for 4. So he kept using it all throughout the year, and the fans at the time were actually going to the games in Oakland. They got behind it. They started waving their hands, putting their like phones in the air. It was really cool.
If you had walk-on music, would it be Van Halen?
Oh, man. I don't know. Probably the Benny Hill theme song. My son, when he comes to bats in baseball games, he uses one of 3 songs. Usually it's You Can't Touch This, obviously Hammer Time.
Yeah.
Another MC Hammer song, Here Comes the Hammer.
Yeah.
And then he also uses Hail to the Chief. Because he is the class president.
Because he's the president.
Right.
And he's got prom coming up this weekend.
Yes, big prom weekend. It's a little later than most proms, but yeah, it's happening. The prom is at the dolphin, like underground dolphin pavilion thing at the zoo. So that's going to be cool. I've DJ'd a couple weddings there. It's a really cool area. And the guest driver for these kids, the one making sure they get safely to dinner, to the prom, and out of downtown, none other than the representative of Brownsburg, Rob Kendall.
Hey now.
Yes.
Hey now. Now, I did it last year. Last year was the year
You guys saw the fight.
we saw all hell break off on Monument Circle, and then they tried to accuse us of lying about it.
Yeah, the press department of the IMPD. Oh, no, nothing to see here. It was like Frank Drebin and the Naked Gun with the fireworks store exploding in the background.
We were posting videos of all these police cars, and it was like the Plainfield school system saying, we don't do CRT, but the lady just, no, we don't do that here. It doesn't matter what you saw.
You guys are taking this fight out of context.
So I'll be driving. I'll be very responsible again this year.
And you are getting paid.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not doing this
volunteering.
out of the kindness of your heart. You're strictly doing it for the money.
Are you driving your own car?
No, he's got a
We
car.
provide them with a slick ride.
Have you seen my car, Casey?
Well, that's why I was wondering, like, are you going to clean it out?
The
What's
windowless
the
white
deal?
van has arrived at prom that says free candy on the side.
Oh, scary.
Hello, local youth.
Hello, kids. I heard you talking earlier about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductions. And again, this is always one of those subjective arguments. Every year, somebody's going to be ticked off because somebody gets in that shouldn't, somebody's left out that needs to be in. But Missy Elliott is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. So I figured, all right, here's what we're going to do. In order for this to make sense to our audience, we've put together a little remix of Missy Elliott's biggest hit, Work It. It's the Joe Biden remix. Would you like to hear it?
Is it worth it? Let me work it. I put my thing down, flip it and reverse it. It's
True international effort to pressure. True international effort to pressure.
If you got a big, let me search it and find out how hard I gotta work. Yeah.
True international effort to pressure. True international effort to pressure.
See, now I'm okay with it.
That is fantastic.
Now I'm all right with the induction of Missy Elliott, only if it's the Joe Biden remix.
That's great.
Derby is this weekend. We were talking off mic a little bit. We've got Racing Rachel from the racetrack in Shelbyville coming on today to give us some Derby picks. You a big Derby girl?
Yeah, I've been to the Derby, and it is a spectacle.
Make a few bad decisions down there in the infield of Churchill Downs, have you?
Drank some mint juleps and had a good time. It's very much like the Indy 500 because you can sit in the stands, and that's where the big hats are and the dresses, right? And everybody gets dressed up. But then there's the infield, which is more like the snake pit.
The debauchery.
Right, where there's, just the T-shirts and the cutoffs and shorts.
Well, that looks like that's
crowd.
local celebrity Casey Daniels on top of that car.
What is she? Oh, she doesn't have a shirt on. Wow.
What's going on? Well, of course, Friday is the Oaks, and those are the younger horses that race, and everybody wears pink.
It's their version of Carb Day. Like, there's so many similarities with the Derby and the Indy 500.
Yeah.
And that year, the pandemic year, where everything got moved back to like August or October or whatever it was, like, I get sports were canceled, players were pulled off the court, and we saw bubble NBA, basketball with no fans. I was still able to watch a basketball game. It didn't really make that much of a difference. When the NFL came back with limited seating, it was still football, hits, passing. But when you were watching the Derby or the Indy 500, and you get that aerial shot of them coming around the corner and there's nobody in the stands, there's no roar from the crowd, that was really weird.
Yeah. The thing about the Derby is you think, okay, Derby, it's one race. Well, it's actually an all-day event.
Right.
And the Derby race is typically like the 14th or 15th race of the day.
There are races after that.
Yeah, and yes, exactly. And so by the time the actual Derby race, the fastest 2 minutes in sports happens, everybody's drunk. Doesn't matter what you bet on.
Isn't it crazy, too, that all that stuff got destroyed and all those memories got wiped away and all those potential opportunities for, memories to be made will never have happened. And there's not really, they can't prove one person's life got saved from how they destroyed society.
No. This country shut down out of precaution with no real information. We were lied to about the information. That's the thing. All these experts, and I'm using air quotes there, came out and said, well, if you get this vaccine, it will stop it cold. You won't get sick. You won't spread it. They were lying right to your face. That was never the case. But you had folks like Rachel Maddow willing to play ball and go up there and talk about it.
And you knew from very early on when we were reading the data on the radio station, 2 weeks in, we knew enough to know, hey, if you're an older person, maybe you stay in. If you're a person with the comorbidity, maybe stay in until we learn more. But if you're people like us, younger, able-bodied people, there was no reason for that to happen in society to shut down.
Do you remember when people would leave their mail or their groceries out of the house for a day or two to make sure all the germs had died off of it before they brought it into the house?
We could write a book on the ridiculous things that we did that have no scientific background. My favorite was the plexiglass divider at the grocery store. Like the Rona, it's not smart enough to go around, up, or underneath of it.
Yeah. What do you have coming up this afternoon, Hammer?
Rob Kendall will go completely off the rails like the lunatic he is. We got Racing Rachel from Caesars, Indiana, and the biggest stories of the day.
Thank you. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hi, this is Denny Smith, and it's spring cleaning time in Indiana, and that means it's not so much about getting rid of clutter. We also have to deal with everything from allergens and irritants to dirt and grunge being tracked into the home. Right now at Zero Res, you get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $149 plus a free hallway. Zero Res is part of my defense team for my allergies and my floors. Zero Res does it with no soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, using their patented ZR water. They really get the allergens and irritants, as well as the dirt and stains, out for a lasting spring clean. And the techs are the best in the industry, trained in extraction techniques that just work to get your things really, really clean. With Zero Res, things just stay cleaner longer with a softer and fluffier feeling that you'll absolutely notice. Now mention WIBC and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for $149, plus you get that free hallway too. Call 388-5141. Again, that's 388-5141, or schedule your appointment online at zeroresindy.com.
Why is there church? Pastor John Gable of Tabernacle Presbyterian Church in Indianapolis.
The word church conjures up many images, but at TAB we believe the church is called to demonstrate the values and practices of the kingdom of God. At TAB, we envision a place where people grow strong in faith as they are equipped to serve others, where deep and loving relationships are created, where people work together to strengthen the community, advocate for justice, and promote God's peace and shalom. Oh, we're not there yet, but that is what we desire because we believe that's what God desires for the church, our community, and the world. Come see for yourself or find out more at tabpres.org.
Tabernacle Presbyterian Church, 34th Street and Central Avenue in Indianapolis, invites you to worship Sunday morning at 8 or 10 a.m. If you can't make it in person, tune in to Sunday with Tab, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WIBC, or find us online at tabpres.org.
Are your investments going nowhere? Here's a tip that always pays big dividends. Invest in yourself, your talent, your smarts, your skills. Maybe it's time to make that investment and start a career in IT or upskill to boost your current career. At My Computer Career, you can bank on us. We'll help you get the right skills and the right certifications to start or advance your IT career. IT keeps growing, so go with the growth at My Computer Career. The right training, the right timing, the right career. Invest in you at mycomputercareer.edu. Start now.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Hubler makes it easy to get your perfect car or truck. Get your vehicle your way. They'll help you pre-order a vehicle built just for you. Visit drivehubler.com. Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake Kitchen and Bath Cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
Running as a Democrat, more subpoenas, and they're hiring. I'm Sasha Nixon. All of that and more coming up from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis.
Keeping a close eye on AI. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Days after the so-called godfather of artificial intelligence announced he'd quit Google to warn about the dangers of AI. The heads of Google, other industry leaders, are in Washington for a meeting this hour headed up by Vice President Harris.
The Biden administration is investing $140 million for AI research institutes and is expected to issue new guidance on how federal agencies can use AI. Government leaders and tech moguls have urged caution about the pace of AI growth. In remarks last month, President Biden said the technology has the potential to address disease and climate change, but could also threaten national security in the economy.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. A partial verdict's been reached this morning in another trial related to the 2021 Capitol riot. The leader of the Proud Boys group and 4 others are charged with seditious conspiracy. Hundreds of others have either been convicted or pleaded guilty to lesser charges. Russia is now blaming the U.S. for helping Ukraine carry out a drone attack on the Kremlin that it claims was an assassination attempt on leader Vladimir Putin. One of his spokesmen alleges the U.S. instructed Ukraine and provided target information.
I would just tell you Mr. Peskov's lying. I mean, that's obviously it's a ludicrous claim. The United States had nothing to do with this. We don't even know exactly what happened here.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby on MSNBC Ukraine also denying any involvement. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas will be at the border today and tomorrow in Texas, a week before Title 42 expires, a COVID policy that's blocked some migrants from entering the U.S. So a new surge of illegal border crossings is expected. Fox's Griff Jenkins in Brownsville seeing
migrants lining up, hundreds of them in this long line. The capacity in the holding centers here in the RGV are more than 140% beyond capacity.
Fox's Griff Jenkins again. There's another sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow's down 350 points as regional bank stocks drop again. PacWest down 50%. Concerned Pacific Western could fail. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
She wants change. 58 degrees and sunny here on Monument Circle. I'm Sasha Nixon. Here's what's trending at 11:02. Better education and better health care. Those are just two of the things that Jennifer McCormick says would happen if she becomes Indiana's next governor. But that's not all.
It's time for a strong economy, from urban, suburban to rural Indiana. That also means we need safe streets. We need safe neighborhoods for every Hoosier.
She announced this morning that she's running in 2024 as a Democrat. McCormick used to be the state superintendent of public instruction. Subpoenas have been issued in the Delphi murder case. Kurt Darling reports on what prosecutors want to know.
Well, that question actually can't be answered because they haven't said why they're sending subpoenas for records from CVS and from the state prison in Westville. Richard Allen, the man accused in the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German, used to work at CVS as a pharmacy tech, and he had been held in the last few months since he was arrested at the Westville Correctional Facility. The trial expected to begin in June. Kurt Darling, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
If you need a job, Indigo needs bus drivers. The company says they're short on drivers and are having to consolidate routes, which is making some routes less frequent and can impact people who rely on Indigo to get around.
That could be something like where a bus normally arrives every 30 minutes. It may not arrive until every 45 minutes or maybe every 60 minutes.
Indigo spokesperson Carrie Black says they're covering training costs and offering $20 an hour for new drivers. Alabama basketball has scheduled a game against Purdue for the 23-24 season. The game will be played in Toronto. The NBA draft is scheduled for June 22nd, and the NCAA early entry withdrawal deadline is May 31st. I'm Sasha Nixon, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Diamonds Direct invites you to join us as we celebrate all the moms in our lives. This Mother's Day, we're giving Mom more to say thank you for all she does. With every fashion jewelry purchase of $2,500 or more, we'll give Mom a free customizable diamond initial pendant valued at nearly $800. We've put together an exceptional collection of meaningful gifts for any budget. The perfect heirloom pieces to pass down to the next generation of moms. Birthstone rings, stackable rings, eternity bands, pearls, elegant diamond pendants, and of course, stunning diamond earrings. This year, she deserves a gift that keeps giving, and at Diamonds Direct, that's our specialty. Timeless gifts of jewelry she can enjoy and cherish for decades to come. Now's a great time to upgrade her diamond studs or pendant with Diamonds Direct's unmatched 110% upgrade. Come let the experts at Diamonds Direct help you find that remarkable gift that says cheers, Mom, for all you do and for who you are. Diamonds Direct. Get locations and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Sundown Gardens, Hamilton County's spring flowers headquarters.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
It's an action-packed show today, Casey. Let's go!
And Casey Daniels.
The gang is all back together.
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Thursday, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Happy National Star Wars Day. It is 5 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. His name is Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. We're glad you're joining us this morning. Of course, you can follow along on YouTube. Just type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar. You can also find Rob on Twitter, Rob M. Kendall, and I'm on Twitter as well, Casey Daniels 317. Okay, so we start this hour. Oh, I wanted to mention, coming up in about 45 minutes, we're going to speak with a Major League Baseball player.
Former Major League Baseball player, Bill Sampson, our buddy from out there on the west side. So he has purchased the former Hoosier Athletic Sports Complex.
Yeah.
And he is planning on creating Grand Park, essentially Grand Park 2.0 for people on the west side. It's going to be a fabulous thing for that area. And they're going to make it work. So, yeah, we're going to have Bill coming up at 11:45.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I can't wait to hear what he has to say about his plans for the complex. But we start this hour talking about Donald Trump. And he may skip the first Republican debate this summer. It's going to be held in August. It will be in Milwaukee, but his campaign has indicated to the Republican National Committee that they have no intention of participating in this debate.
I'm going to say something, and it's either going to be the most bold, brilliant thing I've ever said, or it's going to be the most stupid thing I've ever said.
Well, it was just a few days ago, the anniversary of your interview with Donald Trump.
That's right, yes.
Where he said you were a great dream.
Yes, terrific. It was a great dream. Maybe at some point we'll play that for the people again. I don't know. People love hearing how Trump said I was just wonderful and amazing. If he does not participate in the debates, it should disqualify people from voting for him. If you are too afraid to stand on a stage and take questions and banter with people who want the same job as you, then that is a very cowardly person who, quite frankly, is afraid of what the end result might be and is not interested in working for you. That is a person interested in having something handed to them and not interested in putting in the work necessary in order to earn the job. And if he does indeed ultimately, now, let me preface this by saying, I would vote for an orange peel, a literal orange peel over Joe Biden. So whether it's DeSantis or Tim Scott or Trump or whoever, unless it's, some uber liberal, that somehow magically gets the Republican nomination. I will vote for whoever the Republican nominee is. But on the Republican side, if this person is too afraid to stand on a stage and talk about the issues and prove his worth with his opponents, there's no way I would vote for that person.
So Trump said that he's leading by insurmountable numbers. Which can change. He knows that. But he's not going to have hostile networks with angry Trump and MAGA hating anchors asking the questions.
But he's going on CNN.
Right. But as we've stated before, we know the crowd in the town hall meeting that he's going to be at on CNN is filled with Republicans and independents.
Yeah, but that bothers me even more because you should want, what's the old saying, iron sharpens iron. You should want to have, a bit, if you're so far ahead and it's insurmountable, lead, and you should want to be asked hard questions. You should want a hostile environment because that's what you're going to get in the presidential campaign.
Mm-hmm.
The odds are stacked against you. If you're the Republican nominee for president, the odds are stacked against you winning. You should want to toughen yourself up to be the best candidate you can possibly be. And let's face it, Vivek Ramaswamy and Asa Hutchinson and Chris Christie and Nikki Haley are not exactly world beaters. And if you can't, with relative ease, glide past those people on stage, well, then maybe the problem is you.
I think Vivek has the potential to sound like the smartest guy on the stage if he doesn't come across as the, hey, Spike, little dog.
But from a Trump perspective, if indeed you do have an insurmountable lead, which he doesn't, that's completely ridiculous. There is an eternity between now and then. Mm-hmm. This should be like a walk in the park. All you got to do is not say something. But with Trump, who knows? He may even say something wholly ridiculous and he still isn't impacted. But man, what a giant red flag if this guy refuses to participate.
Okay, so it's also being reported that there's a second debate that could potentially happen at the Reagan Presidential Library in California. But Trump doesn't want to go to that one either because the library has never invited him to speak there. He's offended.
This is what I'm saying, why Trump cannot be the nominee, because he hasn't learned anything. It is still all about Trump. It is still all about this ridiculous look at me behavior. He still thinks he's hosting The Apprentice. He still thinks he's a guy going on, the television talk circuit, promoting a book or a wine or a steak or a whatever. Bro, you are running for president of the United States. And when you are the nominee, there's going to be half the country that wants to kick your behind. And the fact that he doesn't want to gear up for that, and it's still the same, well, I won't go because they didn't ask me to speak. What in the world is that?
I wasn't invited. I'm so offended. He's got a couple other things going on right now. Donald Trump does. He had that lawsuit against the New York Times. It was tossed out by the New York Supreme Court yesterday. And now Trump is being ordered to pay all the attorney's fees and other legal expenses. And also, he apparently is cutting his trip short from Ireland because he wants to confront his accuser in the New York civil rape case. He's describing that as a political attack. However, Chris Christie has been saying that the reason Trump doesn't want to do these debates, because he's scared. Obviously, he's afraid.
Well, and
that's what Chris Christie is saying.
Yeah, I think was it the New York Times that he said that too? I am loath to agree with Chris Christie. However, in this case, he is spot on that I think Trump is afraid. I think Trump is afraid to stand on a stage with a group of people who will press him. I mean, he's the front runner. That's what happens when you're the front runner, whether it's Trump or, John McCain or Mitt Romney or whoever. They're trying to get you. They want what you have.
Well, sure.
Those people are going to press you.
Everybody else is on offense.
Yeah.
He's got to play defense.
And he doesn't want to stand up and explain his views on things or the things he's done or the things he said. And you're going to have to explain it eventually. You're going to lose. I don't think Trump actually cares if he loses or not. I think he just wants attention. And again, I hate agreeing with Chris Christie, but yeah, I think he is afraid because I don't think he thinks anything good will come of it.
So Chris Christie said that Trump should participate in the primary, the debates, because it's going to help the American people decide who is best prepared to become president. We already know what Trump is like as a president. So to that point, do you really need to see him debate? I mean, you know what you're going to get. Sure, he should stand there and answer questions.
Right.
But if this is a way for you to gauge what you're going to get as a president, you already know.
But it isn't a way just to gauge of what you're going to get as a president. It's a way to figure out what do you want to do for this country? How are you going to do those things for this country? The problem with Trump is he makes all these bold predictions with no details. We're going to build a wall and make Mexico pay for it. Now, it was hilarious to people like me who knew what was going on, but there's a lot of people out there who genuinely believed that Trump was going to somehow build this wall and make Mexico pay for it. Trump does that all the time on stuff.
Well, he's done it with Ukraine.
Sure.
I can end this in 24 hours.
With no detail whatsoever on how that would happen. Now, again, the first time through for people like me who just wanted to watch the world burn and wanted to watch Trump pull the mask back on what our government is, which for all the things you can say and be critical about Trump, he did do that. Everybody now knows the cabal that runs this country. And that was, for me, why I supported Trump. He was absolutely 100% the best person for our entire world, our entire country to see, the nameless, faceless bureaucrats that are sabotaging regular people. Resounding success. But I've already seen that now. Now I want someone who will actually govern and actually be successful at governing.
You want somebody who's going to get on that stage and be serious.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. Okay, now Chris Christie has said he is considering his own run for president. Again? Well, I mean, what's he going to pull? But he's like with Mike Pence.
But you know what? I've got
Maybe.
more. If Trump doesn't debate, I've got more respect for Chris Christie because at least he's willing to stand up in front of a room full of people, in front of the nation, and say, here's what I want to do, here's how I do it. I have no respect for someone who thinks so little of the taxpayer and the voter that they won't answer questions.
All right, we've got Indigo trending. We've got Mecum Auctions trending. And also Mitch McConnell says that he's going to attend the debt ceiling negotiations at the White House. Wait, what was that, Rob? That's on the way from 93 WIBC. It is 16 minutes after 11. It's Kendall and Casey.
We've all been through a tornado drill.
First, you duck. and then you'll cover.
So let's do another as we enter severe weather season.
Tornado warning in effect. Sirens were sounded.
The sirens will sound, and so will your severe weather station.
Closures with debris in your way.
Baseball-sized hail already.
We'll let you know when to
duck and cover fast wherever you are.
with watches, warnings, and everything you need to know.
15,000 people without power.
93 WIBC.
Live life to the fullest. You hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? Tony Katz here, and QC Kinetics is in the business of giving people back their quality of life and not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible, utilizing regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. So where is your joint pain? Your knees, your hips, your shoulder, your back? QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them the most. No surgery, no downtime, and patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Finally be able to play golf, hike, walk your dog, enjoy time with your family. Whatever it is, don't wait one more day. Get started today with a call to QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation. QC Kinetics is in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and now in Carmel. So call 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. Eagle Creek, Greenwood, and Carmel, 317-559-PAIN.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency on earth, and if you owe back taxes, the news isn't good. The IRS is raising the interest rate it charges on unpaid taxes, and further rate hikes are expected. Most people don't know it, but the IRS adds interest charges to your tax debts daily. So if you owe the IRS today, you'll owe even more tomorrow. And it doesn't stop until you get right with the IRS. The good news is getting right can start with one phone call to Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm. Optima's tax professionals specialize in the Fresh Start Initiative, a powerful IRS program that can save you thousands if you qualify. In fact, the experts at Optima have resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients. Call now for a free consultation.
Call 800-924-4418. 800-924-4418. 800-924-4418.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Go where the pros go. Drexel Interiors for Timberlake kitchen and bath cabinets. Visit Drexel's new design center on 146th Street at River Road or on North Shadeland. DrexelIN.com.
It's the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
You need to figure out what kind of a show you're going to be.
19 minutes after 11, it's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. What people are talking about this morning, a historic Indianapolis mansion going on the market for the first time in over 8 decades.
Wow.
This home is located at 5 East 71st Street in the heart of Meridian Hills. Was once owned by Eli Lilly chairman and CEO Randall Tobias. Also, it was owned by an Olympic swimmer.
How much?
Oh, boy. Let me see here. $4.7 million.
That's it?
Yes.
How big is it? Does it got deets?
21,644 square feet.
Wow.
8 bedrooms, including a guest apartment with a private entrance.
8 bedrooms?
11 bathrooms, 5 half baths, multiple garages. It can hold up to 9 cars.
Wow.
2 kitchens, a private guest apartment, a wine tasting gallery, an elevator, a swimming pool, a spa, a cabana, and a tennis court.
I wonder why it is going up for sale now. Does it say?
No.
I mean, that's a long time for a house to be in the same, I mean, you would assume it's the same family since it has not been for sale in 8 decades.
The house was built in 1940.
Okay.
So
I thought maybe it was a little older than that, but you would be right. That would be 8 decades ago. So they built the house and it has never not been in that family then, basically.
Well, no, it was owned by an Olympic swimmer at one point. No, you're right. Same family.
Yeah?
It stayed in the family.
That's too bad.
Yeah. But with that a nine car garage, you could put possibly a Bruce Springsteen 1969 convertible in it that's up for auction with the Meekum Auto Sales.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes.
Are you, because there's a famous episode of Seinfeld about buying John Voight's car.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's not the John Voight.
Right.
It's a different John Voight. Are you a person who believes that there should be a premium if someone famous owned something before you, like Betty White's home when she passed away? You could buy Betty White's home. Would you add any value to something if someone famous owned the thing before you?
No.
Okay,
I think we've had this conversation about jerseys and athletic worn sweatshirts that are worth so much more money because somebody famous wore it in a game.
Well, okay, but that's a little different. What I'm saying is, like, you're talking about, hey, this was Wayne Gretzky, the jersey Wayne Gretzky wore when the Edmonton Oilers won the Stanley Cup. I'm not talking about that. I can see where people would value that. What I'm talking about is like a basic nuts and bolts thing, because that's a historical sporting event. These are the golf clubs Tiger Woods used to win the 1997 Masters. Totally get that. What I'm talking about is just a basic nuts and bolts thing, whether it's a car or a home. I'm always amazed at the value people put on things because someone famous had owned it beforehand.
I would say no, but I will make this one exception.
No?
Elvis Presley, yes. Elvis Presley's $800,000 Harley Davidson is up for auction.
Okay.
And it was the last motorcycle he purchased. So, and it's really cool looking. It's
So you said what? This is a
baby blue.
Okay.
He bought a 1976 Harley Davidson. It's an electric glide, and it's going to be up for auction in August.
Okay, but let's go back to the Springsteen one. You said it was a 1969 Corvette. Is that right?
Convertible. Yeah.
Convertible.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder why he would even be selling that. It's not like he needs
He
money.
needs the money. Maybe he's running out of space.
That could very well be it.
The car was loaned out, by the way, that Bruce Springsteen car. Guess where it was on display?
Where?
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Of course, right? Yes, very good.
All right, and another vehicle, more transportation we should talk about. Indigo says 12 of its bus routes are going to be streamlined. They don't have enough drivers. They need to hire about 100 drivers to be fully staffed. They're going to change. They're going to post all the changes online beginning June 11th.
Isn't that amazing?
It's going to affect 4 different routes.
Well, isn't that amazing? Even though how many times we were proven public transportation does not work in this city. I mean, downtown pre-Red Line was so easy to drive around. One of the things I loved in the good old days of downtown was how easy it was to maneuver around this city. Now, that has all changed since they invented this red line, which helps like 7 people move around. But it is amazing how many times we are proven over and over and over again the public transportation system as structured in this city does not work because there is not a want for the thing that we are told we must have.
Yeah.
And yet they just keep doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on it. Government will never stop eating.
People love their cars. Americans love their cars. It's a place that you're in your own sanctuary there, listening to what you want to listen to, and it can't be replaced by that public transportation.
And Indianapolis is not New York City. It's not, Chicago. There are not so many drivers.
And even less coming downtown.
Right. It'd be thanks to the Hogsett administration that you need this mass public transportation plan. And that's because the mass public transportation plan that's been enacted is not because of a need or a want. It's because they're trying to force a political ideology onto people.
Mm-hmm. It is 11:26. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Let's get into this. Mitch McConnell, he said that he has accepted Joe Biden's invitation to attend a debt ceiling negotiation. What kind of invitation is that? Is that just like, here's your invitation?
Do you think it's a formal, someone drops off a letter?
Right.
Is it via text?
Right. Is it a phone call? Hey, you're going to the White House. What kind of invitation is this?
Well, this is not good for anyone if Mitch McConnell is going to be involved in this. So as bad as it was for McCarthy to be the negotiator, I think it's even worse if McConnell's going to be involved in it.
And why do you say that?
because Mitch McConnell loves to spend other people's money. And he's just said not too long ago when he cut the legs off the incoming House Republican majority and struck a $1.7 trillion spending deal along with his child there in the Senate, Todd Young, that funding Ukraine was the most important thing for the Republicans in the Senate. Well, if that's the most important thing, that is not somebody that you want negotiating on your behalf.
Okay, so he says you get a choice between accepting the House bill or entering into a discussion, and the Speaker's been trying to have that discussion with the president for a while now. So all of a sudden, the president turns around and invites McConnell in. Yeah. Is that almost like inviting a friend on your side?
Well, in this case, yes. Because Mitch McConnell and the Republicans in the Senate love to spend printed money that other people, future generations, will have to pay back. And so the fact that McConnell is getting involved, that is not going to end well for anyone if you care about accountable government.
Okay, so one of your favorite restaurants is in violation of child labor laws, and we're going to tell you which one it is coming up from 93 WIBC.
Give your small business one tech solution that checks all the boxes. It's all here with the Comcast Business Complete Connectivity Solution. It's cyber threat security for peace of mind. Check. The power of the largest, fastest, reliable network for small business. That's a triple box check right there. And save up to 75% a year on your wireless bill with Comcast Business Mobile. Check and cha-ching. It's everything you need to keep your business connected. From the company powered by the next generation 10G network. The Complete Connectivity Solution. Get started for just $40 a month for 12 months with no annual contract when you add mobile. And ask about an $800 prepaid card. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Ends 5/21/23. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill AutoPay and new 100 megabits per second and Security Edge service. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares weighted average of top 3 carriers. Savings vary. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Announcing Palavana Cubano, the newest and tastiest Cuban sandwich restaurant in Indy. Located in the Garage Food Hall in the Battle Works district. Palavana Cubano is dedicated to serving authentic, mouth-watering Cuban sandwiches, coffee, and pastries. If you have never tried a Cuban, you're in for a treat. A warm and inviting atmosphere with colorful decor that pays tribute to the vibrant culture of Cuba. For a quick lunch or relaxing dinner with friends, Palavana Cubano is the perfect destination.
Mother's Day is less than 2 weeks away. Show your mom who the favorite child really is. Helzberg Diamonds has an assortment of Mother's Day gifts, including keepsake pendants, diamond and gemstone stacking bands, and 14-karat gold hoops perfect for layering. Helzberg Diamonds makes it easy to find a gift she'll love and that you hope she'll pass down one day, too. Visit one of Helzberg Diamonds' area locations or at Helzberg.com. Hurry! Mother's Day is Sunday, May 14th.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering professional-grade industrial supplies, plus real-time product availability and access to experts ready to answer your toughest questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
It's J&V, and the greenhouse is full of color at Sundown Gardens. Summer annuals and hanging baskets are arriving daily. 186th and Spring Mill Road. SundownGardens.com. SundownGardens.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A referendum passed. 49 degrees here on Monument Circle. I'm Sasha Nixon. Here's what's trending at 11:30. A construction referendum was approved for Indianapolis Public Schools by the voters Tuesday night.
You all chose IPS. You said yes to IPS, and for that reason, our students are going to benefit.
IPS Superintendent Alicia Johnson says now that it's been approved, this will pay for upgrades and renovations to 23 buildings in the IPS school district. The Colts are moving on from several players. Indianapolis announced yesterday that it has waived 4 players following the 2023 NFL Draft. Running backs Darrington Evans and Aaron Champlin, along with wide receiver Christian Wilkerson and cornerback David Vereen, have all been let go by the team. The average price for gas across the state is currently $3.49 per gallon, according to GasBuddy.com. On the Level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
The Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
It is 11:31. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in just a bit, we're going to speak with former Major League Baseball player Bill Sampa, and he's going to talk about what's going on at the Hoosier Athletic Center in Brownsburg.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome. He has bought that athletic facility. He's going to totally revamp it. It's going to be great for the west side of Indianapolis, kind of maybe a smaller version of Grand Park, and that is going to be absolutely outstanding. And they are doing it without any government intervention, and the town's not going to own it.
Private owner.
It's going to be awesome.
Now, you're from Brownsburg,
Yes.
Rob, so I'm curious. Did you ever spend any time there? Did you ever have any events or play any sports there?
I was on the town council when that facility, which was originally Claremont, came into the town of Brownsburg. My incredible town counciling was part of making that happen. The guy who owned it, the family or whatever, I think fell on some hard economic times, and this is great. The Bill's going to own that. It will be a great tourist attraction. It will bring people to Brownsburg, to the west side of Indianapolis. And again, I cannot stress this enough, Casey. It will keep government the hell out of the process, which means it is far more likely to succeed. And here's the great thing. So you were not here when this happened, but our audience will remember 2 years ago, there was this big, grandiose plan by the Brownsburg Town Council. They were in cahoots with, well, you guessed it, the Brownsburg School Corporation, to buy a bunch of school land at an overpriced rate. And then they were going to build one of these monstrosities out there for like $21 million. And you kept hearing from the Parks Department and the Town Council, well, we must have one of these out there. And then you heard the Little League Board come out there. No, we must have this, and it must be taxpayer funded, and there's no other way to do this. And a bunch of us raised our hands and said there absolutely is a way to do this. And if the people of the area actually want this, then the private sector will step up and will fund this and will do this on their own. Nuh-uh! Government's got to do it or it won't get done. Well, here we are, Casey, 2 years later.
Look at this.
You know my least favorite part of every show is when I have to come on here and tell people how I was right. But we kept the government out of it, and a rare act of government accountability. 3 members of the council suffering from some form of amnesia or something did the right thing and killed that proposal after a lot of community pushback. And here we are. The thing is going to get done. It's going to be the private sector. It's going to work because you got a former Major League Baseball player using his own money to make it happen.
Is the building been sitting empty?
Yeah, well, it's not a building. It's a parcel of land with multiple fields on it. And yes, for several years it's been sitting empty, and now it will not be. And everybody, again, Matt, are you listening? It's something we're excited about. Or for those
something to be positive about.
Yeah, for those of you who weren't listening earlier, our executive producer Matt Hibland told me earlier today we need to find more things for you to be excited about. So here's another thing to be excited about. So we will have Bill on next segment to talk all about how that really is going to kind of change the landscape out there on the west side of Indianapolis.
It'll be interesting to hear what his plans are with the place. So let's head to Newcastle, Indiana. A 13-year-old was arrested for murder. This was following a deadly shooting in Newcastle. And according to the police department, officers responded to what they thought was originally a hit and run involving a pedestrian. And it turns out they found a man who was covered in blood lying in the road. And now a 13-year-old for Newcastle is going to be charged with murder. Well, he's been arrested for murder.
Isn't the age just striking?
Well, and that's why it's on the template today, because it's the age. And you're right. It's shocking. But it's mostly shocking that the 13-year-old was able to access a gun.
Well, and we have seen this, especially in Indianapolis, and we talk about it a lot here because that's where we're located at. That's where the prevalence of violence is. But we are seeing more and more young people be involved in very serious, in this case, deadly crimes of violence on other people. I mean, 13 years old, that is a strikingly young age to say that allegedly you have caused the death of someone else.
Yeah, and his future is done for at this point if he is found guilty of that. And it's just a reminder to all responsible gun owners, you know where to put it when you're not using it, in a safe.
Yeah.
So that a 13-year-old can't access it. Also involving more children, the U.S. Department of Labor revealed that 2 10-year-old children were found working at a McDonald's restaurant until 2 in the morning. Now, this happened in Louisville.
What's the problem here?
Well, that's against child labor laws.
Which part?
That the 10-year-olds were working at 2 in the morning.
Look, Casey, let's not jump to conclusions here. Biden has really done damage to the labor market. I had a conversation with a restaurant owner just the other day, a very successful restaurant/bar owner yesterday, about how hard it is to get people to actually want to show up to work.
Well, I mean, we just talked about Indigo, how they can't find drivers.
Right. I'm not apt on this one to rush out and blame McDonald's. I'm blaming Biden.
You think it's his fault? Well, they said that these franchises, they have 60 McDonald's locations in Kentucky and Indiana, Maryland, and Ohio.
You've got to wonder how a 10-year-old actually even gets hired.
Well, don't you have to put that on your job application?
Well, this is my question, is you would think, and again, I was joking, obviously, about saying that I don't blame the McDonald's. Clearly, they are at fault here. But was there some sort of... Now, even if there was a fake ID used, you would think you'd know if it's a 10-year-old, hey, that person appears a little too young to be working in a McDonald's.
Yeah.
Although, they must have been doing a halfway decent job.
Because they were getting the late night hours.
Exactly.
But it wasn't just one, it was 2 of them. They employed over 305 children to work more than the legally permitted hours, you know, when it comes to children under, I believe it's age 16?
Yeah, isn't that kind of...
There's got to be certain hours.
Well, isn't that kind of silly, though? Like, shouldn't a parent be able to decide that? Isn't that a parent's job to decide when their child should be able to do something? Why is it the government's job? Like back in the day, there used to be all sorts of young kids who would work on family farms and, you know, doing various labor-intensive jobs. And they were a lot younger than 10. If a parent, I've never understood, if you're a parent and you believe your kid can do whatever. Now, should a 10-year-old be operating heavy machinery? No, probably not. But could a 10-year-old realistically work a whole host of jobs and not put him or herself at any sort of danger or risk or whatever, and you decide they can do that, then why shouldn't they be able to do that?
Okay, well, and that's the point that they're trying to make here. They said under no circumstances should there ever be a 10-year-old child working in a fast food kitchen around hot grills, ovens, and deep fryers.
What if they want to clean the restaurant? There's always people who that's their job. When I was in high school, I worked at a fast food place. That was part of my job, was to clean the restaurant and greet the people. My point is, again, if the person in question is not being put in danger, now if you said, well, he's around a grease fryer, okay. But if their job was to clean the restaurant.
Right. There's nothing dangerous
then why
about
not?
that. Well, it must have been a 24-hour McDonald's, too, if they were there working at 2 in the morning. But these franchises could face up to $212,000 in penalties.
Boy.
Yeah. Okay, so Jesse Waters is apparently rumored to be the favorite to replace Tucker Carlson on Fox News.
That seems right.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If you're going to get rid of Tucker.
You know, Gutfeld wasn't one of the shows that was affected by the writer's strike.
Yeah.
He's still going with it. But when are they going to make that decision? Because right now, Fox News ratings in that former Tucker slot are falling.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to recover from that, though. Now, Fox News will always exist as an entity. Fox News will always, do somewhat well, at least by cable news standards. But I think there's a lot of, because Tucker Carlson is going to go somewhere. It isn't like Rush where he passed away. He's going to go somewhere. And I think a Bill O'Reilly had kind of worn out his welcome. I think Bill O'Reilly, while a very talented guy, had kind of worn out his welcome in the numerous alleged scandals involving him. And I think it was like, Bill O'Reilly wasn't even really a conservative. So when he left and they put Tucker in there, well, that's the end of Fox News. No, it really wasn't, because there was somebody waiting who was of equal, measure to a Bill O'Reilly. The equal measure guy doesn't seem like he exists, and Tucker Carlson isn't scandal plagued. There isn't a ton of women alleging inappropriate behavior. There isn't millions of dollars in settlement payments by Tucker Carlson. He's going to go somewhere, which means his audience will likely go with him.
I was texting with my sister-in-law. She lives in Washington, D.C., and we get into politics sometimes over the text. And I said, hey, so when are we going to talk about Tucker? And we went back and forth, and she said, well, I hope that he goes on the radio. And I said, no, we don't want him on the radio, especially not from 9 until noon.
No, that would be very unlikely. I mean, I think like Newsmax certainly seems like a logical destination for him of some sort. Maybe, and who knows, maybe he's plotting his own thing, his own
Right, he could launch his own network.
Right. I mean, who knows? You just don't know. But he's going to go somewhere, and those people are likely going to find him.
But Jesse Waters would be, I think, a pretty good next in line.
See, I don't have cable anymore, and I can't think of the last time I've watched cable television that was not a sporting event of some sort. So, I mean, this doesn't really impact me at all, but I do know that there were millions of people every night who really enjoyed watching Tucker Carlson.
MSNBC beat him out this past week on a few different nights. So they need something when Fox is losing to MSNBC. That's a hole in the market.
When we come back, our man, Bill Sampson, former Major League Baseball player, talking about his big purchase on the West Side to bring youth sports.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hey, it's Hammer and Nigel. I've got amazing news from Window Nation. You can modernize and reinvest in your home today with new windows from Window Nation, and it's their best deal. 0% interest for 5 full years, and on top of that, you get 2 windows with every 2 you buy. You'll get all the advantages of more comfort, lower energy bills, higher home value, all with the impeccable construction and expert installation Window Nation is known for.
Window Nation has placed nearly 2 million windows with 96% perfection, making them one of the top window companies in America. If your home is over 15 to 20 years old, this is one of the smartest investments you can make. Call today, 866-90-NATION, or visit windownation.com. Lock in these incredible savings. 0 interest for 5 years. That's 60 months interest-free plus 2 free windows with every 2 that you purchase. It's only for a limited time, though, so don't miss out. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Imagine if you could get a 35% bonus when you invest your money. That's right. When you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. And if you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus. It's Terry Stacy. Learn how you could get a 35% bonus from Bill Demery, my retirement guy. I know and trust Bill Demery, and you can too. Not only will you get a 35% bonus, you'll sleep well, knowing your money is backed by an A-plus insurance company that's been in business for 140 years and has $2.5 trillion in assets. To learn more about this limited time offer to get a 35% bonus, call 317-932-9912. That's 317-932-9912.
Hey, it's JMV for Sundown Gardens, and the greenhouse is full of color with summer annuals and hanging baskets arriving daily. Don't forget about the beautiful tropicals and ferns in stock now. Sundown's nursery has a wide selection of great plants and trees, including wonderful specimen conifers. For best selection, get to Sundown Gardens this week and ask about the loyalty program. That's Sundown Gardens, 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. SundownGardens.com. It's SundownGardens.com today.
That kitchen or bath remodel you've been ready to start? With inflation rising, waiting is just going to make it more expensive. Start that remodel today. Hey, it's Tony Katz for Booher Remodeling. BOOHER. BooherRemodeling.com. Get on the schedule now to avoid some of those price increases. Booher Remodeling is the finest remodeler in Central Indiana with the best materials and most skilled craftsmen. They'll guide you through the entire process to make your vision come to life. Go to BooherRemodeling.com to set up your free consultation. BooherRemodeling.com.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Talking baseball, Klazuski, Campanella, talking baseball, the man and Bobby Feller.
93 WIBC, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. Casey, there is a big doings going on the west side of central Indiana.
Yes, baseball.
Yes, absolutely. I love this. It's in my neck of the woods over there near Brownsburg, Claremont. The long-abandoned Hoosier Athletic Center has been purchased by former Major League Baseball player Bill Sampson, and he is going to turn it into the newest epicenter for youth baseball, softball, all sorts of youth sports. And he joins us now to talk about it on the DriveHubler.com hotline. Bill, how are you?
I am great. How are you guys?
Hey, we're great. So tell us, why did you decide to embark on this big endeavor to buy this big plot of land and make it a new home for youth sports?
Well, we've been in the baseball and softball training world for a while now, and kind of on a smaller scale. Kind of organically grew into having some travel baseball teams. And it's just continued to blossom and grow over the last few years. And we really just saw this as an opportunity to expand not only what we do, but frankly, more importantly, expand opportunity for kids in our area, the region, even the state and Midwest region to some degree, to present an opportunity for them to come to a facility where they can get training, play competitive sports, and it's what we do, and this was just a great opportunity to expand it.
Is this going to be the new home for the Indiana Expos?
It will, yes, both the Indiana Expos and the Indiana Angels, and of course, we train people from all organizations around the state. Those are just the teams that are directly under our umbrella, and it will definitely be their home.
Bill Sampson, our guest, former Major League Baseball player, big announcement last week, purchasing the Hoosier Athletic Center in Brownsburg near I-74 and the Ronald Reagan Parkway. So, Bill, I love this because a couple years ago, the town of Brownsburg wanted to do some multi-$21 million monstrosity. There was, just terrible accounting on how they were going to make money on it, rate of return. I love that you, the private sector, stepped in and said, we can do this, we can make this work. Why will this work on the west side?
Well, it's a big industry. There's a lot of interest. And again, I think for us, the reason that we were willing to take this type of plunge is we've got history. We know what we do. We know how it works. We know the level of interest. We have a track record. And so we've crunched all the numbers just to make sure that we could make that work. And I just think it's going to be a great thing for the area. I mean, we just look at the impact of, you take up in Westfield and Grand Park and the number of people that come to that area and what it's done for that city. I just think we just saw it as a great opportunity to grow what we do, but also just a great impact for the town.
Bill, I'm curious, what is the timeline for you? Where are you now, and where are you going, and how long is it going to take you to get there?
Good questions. I'm not really sure where I'm at right now. We're working diligently now, and it's going to be a little bit of an ongoing process, right? We're taking the current infrastructure, and obviously when it is set dormant for the number of years that it has, there's just some upkeep and some work to do to get it back up to speed and get it functioning. The soonest things we'll do, we're going to run a few events. People are approaching us about, doing events out there. So we'll do that, accommodate them, help them with that. That actually helps speed us up a little bit, makes us have to meet some timelines that are faster maybe than they would have previously been. But we'll have things going out there, this summer and this fall. I'm not saying there's going to be gigantic tournaments. That's going to be a bit of time, right? But we're going to use it a lot in the near future for our teams and for their training and for tryouts and for camps and things like that.
So, Bill, it's interesting. You mentioned, the multiple facilities that kind of do some of the same stuff. Grand Park, I know Kokomo's got a similar one as well. You think there is enough need for these types of facilities that even being relatively close together, I mean, not that Brownsburg and Westfield are neighbors, but they're central Indiana, we can sustain multiple of these facilities in the greater central Indiana area?
I think there's no question. And in fact, oddly enough, I don't even see, other facilities like that as competitors. There's people that come from other states.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because these type of facilities are honestly pretty rare. And granted, but these type of facilities where there's multiple fields are fairly rare. So when you have that opportunity, tournament organizers love that because they're not sending people, to 15 different facilities. They can also create sort of a hub, and it makes it easier for everyone, honestly.
Bill, I'm curious, do you have any plans in the future that you might grow outside of baseball or softball? Like we're talking about Grand Park, and they include multiple sports there. Do you think that is something that you will look into, or are you going to stay pretty focused?
Well, we ourselves will stay focused. Now, if there is opportunity, within that area for other sports to take advantage of that too. Obviously, we would be open to that. But, I heard some advice a long time ago, even, kind of an analogy in the restaurant business. You have to be careful that you don't get too broad. Your menu gets too big and you get away from what you do well. Mm-hmm. And we've tried to do that. We've tried to stay focused on what we do. We train kids in baseball and softball, and so that's going to continue to be our focus. Will the property, can it be used for other sports? Absolutely, and we will broach those subjects as they come available.
Yeah. Bill Sampson is on the line with us. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. And before we let you go, I have to ask you, because you actually have experience doing this, what do you think about the new Major League Baseball rules? Where are you on the pitch clock and the new bases?
Man, you really gonna make me answer that?
There's no way Bill Sampson's for a pitch clock. No way.
I am not a fan of any of it. I will say this. I will give this much, okay?
Yeah.
I like there to be pace to the game.
Mm-hmm.
To put a hard clock on that, I think, is extreme, because I think it also takes away the feel of the game. And working with pitchers, I'm like, hey, we got to have some pace, we got to have some tempo, but there's times you need to slow the game down. They've taken that away.
Well, Bill,
they've taken that away, and then, I don't like slow players. Like pretty much get the ball, get your butt on the mound, let's get this thing rolling. But now we can only pick to first base twice.
Yeah,
come on.
Does that change how you're coaching?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It has to. It doesn't necessarily change us specifically yet, because we don't have the shot clock in the things that we do.
Right.
But so we can still teach that sort of, pretty much the same way. But on the professional level, it absolutely changes your strategy. And, I'm going to 100% admit I am biased, but I feel like every rule change that's ever put in baseball is for the offense.
Bill's my guy. See?
Yeah, I know.
I've told you how much I love Bill. I knew what Bill's answer to that was going to be.
I think next they're going to put a pitching machine in from 80 feet away from home plate. Nothing but fastballs. Can't wear a glove in the field.
Yeah. Hey, Bill, before I let you go, I just want to say, I've been interviewing you for close to 20 years now, and I love that you are the guys who ended up with this facility. You've been a Brownsburg guy through and through. Your kids went to Brownsburg. You've been committed to the area. And so just from a personal perspective, I love that you are the guys who ended up with that Hoosier Athletic Center, because you're going to do a million times better job with it than the government ever would. And I wish you guys just all the success with that, and just let us know how we can help.
Well, we appreciate that very much, and we're excited about the opportunity.
And this guy has a voice for broadcasting as well. Nice pipes, too.
Bill's the man.
Yeah.
I knew what Bill's answer to that question was going to be. I knew it. And I said, I'm so glad she asked that question.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Kevin. Good job today. And thank you for listening. We're going to count on you to be back here tomorrow. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
There's a race going on inside your body, and sometimes the bad guys, otherwise known as arthritis, get there first. That's when the joint pain kicks in.
Your healing process is just too slow and just can't catch up, and it needs just a little bit of help from QC Kinetics.
That's Dr. Daniel Zuckerman, a QC Kinetics medical director.
We all know that you can heal yourself. If you get a cut, it heals on its own. Your joints are no different. We can take the healing properties from your blood, concentrate them down, and put them in the spot that you need the help. It's amazing. Your body can heal itself.
At QC Kinetics, that's called regenerative medicine. No surgery or steroids, just lasting relief, the natural way.
The fact that we can treat them without surgery, but using their own body's natural healing process, without medications, without steroids, without surgery, it's just amazing.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 317-559-PAIN. That's 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN.
Can you hear it? That's the sound of memories. And making those memories is about to get a whole lot easier. Sportsman's Warehouse is coming to Brownsburg. Join us for our grand opening celebration May 4th through 6th, and let us help you make new memories this year. Gear up for unforgettable at Sportsman's Warehouse.
You see them coming in your rearview mirror. Big trucks can cause big wrecks on our Indiana roads.
I'm attorney Daryl Isaacs, the Hammer. We're here to stop these big trucks and their big insurance companies. If you've been injured by a dump truck, delivery truck, concrete truck, or any kind of big truck, we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
Click and get help quick at WeWin.com. That's WeWin.com.
Chapters of this story take a whole month to tell. This is May. It starts with twists and turns on the IMS road course for the GMR Grand Prix. Then PPG presents Armed Forces Indy 500 qualifying and the Firestone Fast 6 shootout. May continues with Indy's biggest party, Miller Lite Card Day. And all roads lead to the 107th running of the Indianapolis 500.